That is correct, Boris. That is a tux-like penguin, isn't it? Give me a second here. I am getting our stuff all set up here. Those of you that have been around or know how our stream kind of goes, we tend to I tend to be on a lot earlier than than when I'm on right now. I'm typically on very early Fridays, and then I get off. Well, the wife is in town, but she's hanging out with her friends doing scrapbooking right now. So we're hanging out right here and doing some of our own little Linux stuff. So let me pull up Ranger Cam, and let me pull up my own little home lab, and then we will I'm gonna go ahead and close that whole one out. Yeah, maybe we'll do a little bit of Linux and stuff tonight. Maybe pop it on a camera view so you guys can see what I'm doing and what I'm talking about. And yeah, should be good. All right. I am a lot better. I am much better. I'm still just kind of hanging out with the penguin though, because I don't know if I'll be on stream tomorrow a little bit when we're talking. Never fear the Boris here. You said how many units will there be? We'll do 16 units total. So we're starting on 10 tomorrow. Be in unit 10, man. We're almost done with this. It's been a lot of work for everybody, right? People that have been doing this with me. We've done a lot of work here down in the old Discord, right? Everything in the Discord's free, but if you go to Prolog Projects here, you'll find all the stuff you need to get started. And if you go to Beginner Start here, there's the playlist for all the old ones. And again, it's about 6 to 8 hours a week probably to catch up. So I mean, you guys are. You're looking at now almost 60, maybe 80 hours to catch up if you wanted to. This may be advanced, but how do I fix a bad boot sector? It depends. The easiest way to fix a bad boot sector typically is to boot to like a live disk and then either overwrite it or boot to a live disk, go in there and find, because bad boot disk is likely somebody messed up a config file. Yeah, so I mean, if a config file got messed up and you got a backed up version that you could then cut over to, that's one way. A lot of modern Linux, you can boot into a rescue kernel and then remount there's a sysroot type system. It's called sysroot, and then you go in there and you remount it because it's typically read only. Yeah, and I mean, there's always the concept. So obviously in home labs, we try to save what we can, but I mean, hopefully things in our home labs aren't so important. Out in the industry, I try to not keep anything on a server that's critical. Most everything is off of some type of NFS share, or either NFS, or if my company is running some kind of GPFS for high speed stuff, I keep everything out there because the server itself, there's no server that I run professionally that you couldn't be like, hey Scott, I'm going to kill that server right now. What does that matter to you? And I'd be like, rebuild it. So yeah, I mean, like if the idea is to get the data off it, we can do that with a live disk too. But typically for me, yeah, it's is there something actually wrong with the system? And in that way, you're not going to be able to, fix that disk by any type of partitioning. If it's just some error or messed up thing that somebody has, you can still boot to a live disk or boot a system into a rescue mode and fix it that way too. I've never used Mac. Guys, I've done like 2 professional things with Macs ever, and they were helping a guy who didn't understand like the POSIX style command line. So I had to show him some command line stuff, and that all worked the same in Mac. But he was the Mac guy. He just didn't know any command line. So I thought that was funny. Then I had to show him how to get something implemented for his stuff to work in the corporation. But that's mainly because I had been doing Linux there for so long that I knew how we did on the Linux side, so I could help him on the Mac side, So Yeah, so I mean that's what I would try to do. I would, you know, something like that. But what I thought might be fun is all the normal stuff. We'll keep an eye on the system. We'll keep an eye on Ranger. Look at Ranger down there. Ranger's got so many tables. Why has he got so many tables? Because we're having a party Sunday. On Sunday we're having a party. The wife's coming home. We have leis and Hawaiian themed stuff all over the house, and we are going to we'll get some pictures of Ranger with all the kids, with the leis on Ranger and on everybody else too. And it's LEI, whatever. I don't care. Um, I don't know. I don't care. But yeah, we're just Ranger's a party animal, right? But here's our Discord for anybody that wants to hang out in there. And we're not working too hard today. Yeah, a Hawaii, a flower necklace. That's exactly right. Um, so I am going to. We'll leave all this stuff up. I have some of these. These are some of the data center and job type things that people had found, and I thought that this one would be fun to just kind of keep going down and answering, especially this one that has all the data center stuff. Because if you've never thought, like, I know the question is often, how do I get into tech? How do I get in? Like, they're like, hey Scott, I do Linux for fun and I do Linux with you, and we hang out and stuff, but I can't get into Linux engineering. There's no Linux engineering. And I say, okay, well, sometimes it's hard to get right into engineering unless you're like, got a degree or something in that field. So what might be easier is get into a knock role or a SOC role. That's NOC, Network Operations Center, or SOC, which is Security Operations Center, and just start there. I mean, even if it's third shift, I mean that sometimes kind of sucks, guys. But another one that I had not even really thought about until this one popped up. But I've done a lot of data center work in my career. Now it was always as an engineer, but that's irrelevant. The point is, I had to go cut my hands and rack and stack servers just like anybody else. Yeah. So get a job, get a job where, the work is obviously, but if you can get into data center. So my brother John, who's going to come talk to you guys tomorrow, he's going to come talk to you guys. He is a infrastructure engineer 6 at his company. That's the highest title of engineer that they have at his company. He does not even have a high school diploma. I mean, he's got a GED, which is the same thing. But I'm saying he's going to tell you he didn't do it by education. He did it by getting in there and working. And what he originally got as a job was, I was working with a guy, and his dad was a data center manager for a company called Cordero, and they got my brother John this interview. So he was like, "Yeah, I'll give John an interview." Anyway, so my brother John goes and talks to him, and they're like, "Well, we really like you. We want to hire you." And my brother goes, "Well, I've got this one thing I've got to go do with the army for 2 months. When I come back, will I still have a job?" And they go, "Well, yeah. We want to hire you, so that's fine." By the time my brother got back from the army, it was kind of funny. By the time he got back from this job school he had to go to or whatever, because my brother was a guard. I think all three of my brothers besides me did guard, whereas me and my older brother Steve did regular army. So, anyways, neither here nor there. But where I'm going with that is my younger brother, he just did that. And then when he got back, my buddy's dad had already moved on to another role. So he went to work for this, director of this data center, but the guy had already moved on. So my brother just worked there. And it was funny, one of the guys who interviewed my brother is actually in our Discord. He was one of my college students years before that. His name's Felix. He runs around in the Discord. So you guys might talk to him down there if you run into Felix. But anyways, my brother worked at Cordero, and I remember in the 2 or 3 years he worked there, he got promoted like 4 times. So he kept just moving up, and they had him in charge of everything. And then he came over to work at AAA when I did. So they hired me to be the lead, and then they hired him to be just one of the. I think they hired him as like a 1 or a 2. They brought him in pretty low level, and then they just kept promoting him up. And like I said, he's a 6 now, which is the highest they have. So He's going to come tomorrow and talk about Kubernetes and operationalizing OpenShift, because he runs OpenShift for one of the largest insurance companies in America. They're definitely top 5 of yeah, pure insurance. They're definitely top 10, but they are the number one most favorable. If you go look up the most favorable name in all of America for businesses, they have the most favorable name. So that's a fun one for you guys to go try to find if you want before he comes and talks. So Abhishek over on the YouTube side, how's it going? We're not working too hard. We're just hanging out, and I'm kind of thinking about what I want to work on in earnest. But again, we're just kind of hanging out right now. We're also yeah, I don't know, kind of a late night. Maybe we'll see how it goes for the next little bit, and then we'll bounce. Yeah, he's coming tomorrow. Hold on, there's definitely an event for it. My brother is talking here after the first hour of this course. He's coming as a guest speaker to talk to everybody in this course. So yeah, this is where my brother's talking right here. So the first hour will be me talking about Unit 10 and Kubernetes, and then he's just going to hang out as long as people want to stay. So it's 1 hour after it starts, basically, if you want to think of it like that. So that's when my brother will be there to talk to you. He showed me the slides the other day. I think it looks good. I think he's going to have some really good stuff to tell you guys about. I told him, I said, you're going to have these plans of these things that you want to talk through, and everybody's going to want to talk to you about anything else. And I said, just go with it, go with whatever they want to ask you about. So, he might get derailed by people asking him about, what class he likes to play in WoW. Who knows? Definitely old school WoW players. He's one of the first. I want to say he was definitely under 100. I don't think he was quite top 10, but he was definitely very early on in getting a Thunder Fury, which is still a weapon that I don't think most people ever got in World of Warcraft. So that was a very difficult weapon to get in the early version of that game. But yeah, my brother used to play that with us, and he could tell you all about when we used to play and just beat the shit out of everybody in the arenas. So that thing won't say bad words for me, by the way, which I think is kind of funny. All right. Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good talking. We've got a New Year event. Guys, we typically meet once around the New Year holiday type time for people. And then we typically meet like really big right around August as well. Because August is our anniversary of being a server. And it'll be our 6th anniversary this year of being a server. And it'll be our 11th anniversary of being a professional Linux users group. But that will be in August. This is just going to be us doing a New Year event. We tend to we have some giveaways there, and we have some guest speakers. So I'm going to try to get some job recruiters to come in and talk to you guys about where they see industry trends going and that kind of stuff. So we'll see what kind of fun stuff we can get kind of going here. So that's my thoughts. So all right, let me get this thing out of the way here. Ow. All right. There's Ranger downstairs. Let's see. Let's check a couple things out. You know what we might do? We might move this like this, just so we have a little more room for fun stuff. Yeah. That might be a little more tenable for us. Let's see if that's a little better. Yeah, that might be a little better for us. All right. Boris, are you working with Grafana at work? That's pretty cool if work is paying you and also you get to get better at that. That's always good. Yeah, what is this Rack Nerd sale? Hold on. I don't know about this. Oh. It's not this? Oh wow, that's only $1 a year or $1 a month. Hmm. That's like $3 a year right there. You could do anything you wanted. Build labs out. Um, you could run your own web server on it. Put a couple of them behind probably reasonable either DNS or actual traffic load balancer of some type, and then have high availability in different zones. You know, depending on what you're looking for. CentOS, Fedora, Debian, and Ubuntu. Run your own ISO if you want. Hmm. Yeah, that's not, I mean, the other thing about this that's not terrible is, I mean, I've showed you guys my rack equipment here or whatever, and if you're gonna, spend some money up front, what if you were like, well, Scott, hey, instead of buying, let's see, this server was a couple hundred when I got it. This one might have been 100. This was a couple hundred. That was like maybe 300. So probably like 600, a little over 600 for all of my servers. But if you were like, well, Scott, I don't want to build out all those servers, but I could just buy 3 of these, right, for just over $100 a year, and it would take 6 years, 7 years almost to get to the same cost of my servers. So you could do a lot in that time, messing around in just some virtual machines that are getting upgraded and all that kind of stuff yourself. So I don't know, that's interesting. I mean, yeah, I've never seen Rack Nerd before, but that's interesting. And you could run your own custom ISOs up on it if you really wanted to. All right. Let's see if all our servers are up. That's fine, Boris. It works. See if any of our servers are not working the way we expect. Yeah, they look fine. They're doing fine. Move this down just a little bit. Move that all the way up. Nope. Nope. There we go. All right. Yeah, nodes are good. What I tend to do, especially if we don't see anybody on them, like we don't right now, we're just going to give them a little kick over. Because when we start tomorrow, we want all the nodes to be, clean. So we'll go here, and then we'll sleep. We'll give a sleep of 180. Let's see if that's enough time for all of them to come back. Boris, I have no problem with Proxmox. I've just never built it out, so like I have no reason to jump off of the tool that's worked fine for me, you know. In the home lab, you'll find that I am very much just once I find something that works, that's what I stick with until it's fine and time to go on and do other stuff. So it's not because I dislike Proxmox in any way. I've barely even seen it. I think I probably saw more Proxmox when Boris was talking to me about it, or not Boris. Treasure was talking to me about it earlier, and that's probably the most I've ever seen inside of Proxmox when he was showing me something in there. I've got nothing against the tool. I just never bothered to do anything with it. So, all right. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it is the price of their cheapest. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty low. I mean that's a pretty small little box. But I mean if you just needed, like if you wanted a box, let's say you wanted to run a server in each of these environments, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you just wanted to write scripts that pinged all of your different nodes and then sent some information out to like a Kafka bus or something, or an API somewhere, and you just wanted to know that from all around the country you were able to ping something. Yeah, no, that would cost you $66 a year to run 6 of those things, one in each different area, and just be able to ping all the time. And then you start getting clients and you're like, hey, I'll ping all your stuff for $5 a month. And then, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? Wouldn't be a hard thing to build. It would be hard to market maybe because there's other things that'll do that. But that's a pretty cool little service maybe. And a static IP, that's true too. You need that static IP to maybe redirect whatever. Maybe you want to do a little, maybe let's say you were doing a little portfolio project for like our Linux group, and you were like, hey, I'm going to go take the technology that I've learned about from Tor, right, the Onion router, and I'm going to go set it up on 6 nodes, one in San Jose, Seattle, Dallas, Chicago, New York, and Atlanta. And then when you come into that from anywhere, I can route you out to any of those and send you out to the world, right? So you just build this little Tor idea, which is all open source. You can go find all that stuff. And then, you just prove that you can anonymize things. You never allow anybody to register in because that's obviously where Tor failed, is they allowed people to register in, and the government of the U.S. took over 60%, and once they had 60%, they could do whatever they wanted. They could see all the traffic, right? Because 60% is the theoretical limit, or it's the theoretical minimum to be able to control all traffic in a Onion router. So yeah, and then you could use the VPs for relay, and you could do all kinds of stuff with it. So yeah, that's smart. So I don't know, that's interesting to me. Something to go look at, and I mean, That's, I mean, that's a pretty good little cheap lab, you know. You could you could set up a you could take all the Linux systems administration stuff that we have in the Discord, package it up, sell it for $20, and give somebody one of those things for $12, and make $8 on the course. That's funny. Um, that's funny. I wouldn't do that. I don't have the patience or the time to rustle to track those kind of cats. Yeah, yeah. That's, I mean, that's a dollar. That's a dollar a month on that one plan. There's probably some taxes on it, so it's a dollar a month. Let's say. Still good deal. Pretty good deal. I don't know. I don't know, Linux developer. I got told about it just like you guys did. So I'm curious, you know, what that looks like. I'll click the order now. Let's see what it says. So I could do any of these. I would pay all the monies up front. All my Linux if I wanted, right? 2024. Biennially. You guys ever heard Archer explain biennial versus biannually? Biennial is... We can make a server label. Okay. Interesting. This just means charge once every 2 years. Biannually is twice a year. People think biannually is to say once every 2 years, but it's not. Biennially would be every 2 years. So this is kind of like, this is one of those things where it's like when you get, I don't know if any of you guys live in a state where you got to pay pretty big tax. I pay pretty big taxes on my truck, and if I do it just by itself, it when I first got it, it was $700 a year. But if I did it together, it was only $13.50 because I saved the $50 registration fee. So I was just like, nah, all right, I'll do it for 2 years, and then it'll be less, you know. And then it goes down. I think Arizona depreciates 6% a year or something, so it goes down pretty quick. But it's still super annoying when you pay such a high percentage for your vehicle. That's where I'm a little worried about this now. I might have to go check to see if these nodes are coming up. But yeah, this is look, they're going to charge you more for the IPs that you might want on that thing than they are for the time on the box. Oh, look at all this. They give us all kinds of bullshit ideas. I put Rocky Linux 9 on there. Boom. What I want to know is if I buy this thing, right? It's their normal plans. That's what they normally cost. But what I want to know is if I buy one of these and let's say I break it on purpose, how easy is it to just hit a button and restart it, reset it back to zero, you know? That's what I'm kind of a little wondering about. Let's see what their bare metal servers cost. So let's say I wanted to get a dedicated server that I could carve up and run as the home lab instead of running my own home lab here, right? Because maybe I want to depreciate my home lab so that my office here doesn't get so hot. Deprecate. Let's see what that cost might be. So I get tiny, this pretty base, tiny little server, 5 IPs, $139 a month. So that means I'd spend almost $1,700 a year to run the professional Linux users group. Now, technically, That is, let me think, 1,700. That's doable within the budget. But I much more prefer to do things like I normally do at our events, like where we give stuff away, as opposed to doing that. So that would be my preference. Give stuff to you guys. IPMI. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, Doominator. I probably could use it as a tax write-off. I could probably rent part of my office up here with all of my servers in it to the Prolug and then do that as like a tax write-off. The only problem is then I'd probably have to turn Prolug into an actual like non-profit organization, and I never bothered to do anything like that. It's just, we have the professional Linux users group, but we don't really have, like, there's no actual thing going on with it, just us kind of hanging out. So well, that starts getting a little pricey for some of that stuff. So all right, anyways, it's interesting. Oh yeah, I'm not watching that Paul Fish shit. Ugh. All right, we gotta go find out what's going on. These systems are pulling their runtime images, so how are they not coming up? All right, well, they say they're there. So why are these servers all coming back red? If those ones are all up, what the hell? I mean, didn't I literally just see this? All right, fuck it. I don't care. Never fear. I run a couple of. I want to say these are like Dell 710s or 720s, and then I think this is like a 610 or 620. They're just old pieces of hardware sitting behind me. They're not really doing nothing serious. They're just hanging out. Over on YouTube, the King Tsubaki, how's it going? We're just kind of hanging out tonight and making sure that the home lab is up. We rebooted it. I've got some stuff to think about. I could start cleaning up. Oh, you had a 620? Nice. I could start cleaning up the lab stuff that I got to do for this next. So tomorrow we've got Unit 10 of the Professional Linux Users Group Linux Systems Administration course, right? Is that right? Hold on. Let's go visit here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, so 10. We'll do the recording tomorrow, right? For 10. So you guys are free, free to start them anytime if you want to do them and go through them. They are free. Again, do whatever you want with it. The event's coming up. There's a container study hang, so there was a pretty good group of people in there studying today earlier. No, I use a tool called Bacula for backup. So Bacula looks like this. So Bacula is it's heavily used in a lot of government stuff, U.S. government stuff, but it integrates pretty well with tape. tape servers, both local and virtual tape libraries. So if you've ever done any kind of tape devices, and maybe you move out to like an Amazon Web Services virtual tape library where there's no actual tape. Uh, yeah, Bacula definitely has a GUI. Yeah, they have two different GUIs that I know of. There's BWeb and I think B Cluster Manager, and I forget which one is free. And one's free and open source, and the other one I think you pay something for. King Subaki said first time using ChatGPT and I don't like it. I think it's lying to me. King Subaki, I don't know much about the ChatGPT side of things. I've used some LLMs messing around. But one of the things that I've noticed about LLMs is they are extremely confident, even if they're extremely confident and wrong. They're a lot like my college students. They're very confident even in their wrongness. Um, so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that, and also if you're using, oh, excuse me, if you're using a certain type of Chat GPT, it could be, excuse me, it could be using older data too. You ask based on your current position what you should apply for next, and it basically is telling you system admin, network admin, and help desk IT support specialist. Okay. I mean, is that something you're interested in? I mean, not everybody wants to do any of that stuff. I'm gonna link also this other thing, GNS3. This is if you are doing IT and you want to get into networking, you definitely need to spend some time in GNS, and especially if you need help getting like command line. Because for me, I mean, I grew up in the networking side of things, so I learned to do command line there even before I jumped to be a full-time Linux person. So I would argue you just have to know command line regardless of how you want to play, like how you want to play your career. I think you just need to be confident getting into any type of command line that's out there. EvenG, yeah, I've heard of that one too. I might build some labs out in GNS3 and then just give you guys some servers that you can jump into. Because right now you guys can jump into any of these, right? Any of these Rocky boxes are yours to use. But I would love for you guys to be able to also get in. I can because we've got our Apache Guacamole, right? And you guys can get an Apache Guacamole if you know how to ask for that. What? Hold on. Thanks for the follow. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Yeah, if you wanted to see like any of our home labs and then you just get dropped into like one of the lab environments, something like Blue Node here. And you're just some inmate in the system, no powers. But this is right through a browser, which makes this kind of nice. If you need access and you don't know how to get into PuTTY, I can at least get you right into a system like this. So, what is GNS3? It is a free little topology tool that you can build. It's free. That's the best thing about it. But it's a look at this. It's a little tool that you can download. And there's people that you can buy, but there's so many free ones. I wouldn't pay for anything in there. Hold on. There's a paid for version apparently, but let's go look at the documentation. GNS3 will drop you in this right here. They'll drop you in something like this, and then you can click on any one of these devices, and it'll take you right into like the Cisco command line to start programming that device. So it's great. Also, I'm gonna pull Brotato over here. Okay, so I want to play me some Brotato while we're talking. But I won't take the whole screen up with Brotato, just a little bit. And we could keep talking about other stuff if you guys want. But I got more rounds to win to win Brotato. I got a whole bunch more to clear, so I might do that. Yeah, the thing about GNS3 is they've got a cool little marketplace now, so you can get most of the images that you might need. So, yeah, King Subaki, I've thought about, like, I've got a little networking primer, but I've never like ran you guys through like heavy networking. But I think I might do like a networking for like Linux sysadmins that will just, I don't know, it'll be more than a primer but less than a full course, and it'll basically be all the things that I think you need to know to troubleshoot your way out of a busted system or a thing that's not doing what it should be doing, that kind of stuff. Well, everything touches networking, right, Boris? So I mean, yeah, everyone should kind of learn some basic networking. Um, let's play the demon a little bit. You guys can keep talking and asking me questions if you want. I'm just gonna run around and kill some bad guys. Sometimes when I do this, I've got to cover. Let me cover my other screen real quick, because if there's too much, if there's too many moving things on the screen, then it kind of jacks up the performance of the game. So yeah, the game's playing better now. A little choppy, not a little bit choppy, not too bad. Definitely choppier than when I play it by myself, but yeah, Brotato's a bit great if you never played Brotato. We'll take that, that. More Ghost Scepters, more life. More Ghost Scepters, more attack speed. It's good for this level. Hold on, I gotta figure out. Probably leave it on this for a minute. Oh yeah, wow, it's super jumpy right now for me. Hold on, let me move that down for a little bit, and then I'll go back up here so I can at least see those chat. That's better. Yeah, it's not choppy at all anymore. It's the other screen I had up. I had my little studio up, but I can still see chats over here on the other two screens I got, so they apparently are not sucking up as much of the old bandwidth there. Yeah, Brotato is a fun game, man. I really enjoy Brotato a lot. It's a little time waster, and I can just be done with it. So I can play it and then be done. So it's kind of a nice little, like if I lose right now, I don't care. I'll just go back to doing what I was doing, and I can refocus real quick. It's like it's almost like people do Pomodoro timer. I'll do a little Brotato, go do some work, think about something, kick something off at work, do a little more Brotato, come back. Like, I don't have to do it super serious throughout the day. The rounds are pretty quick. If you die, the rounds are real quick. If you do okay, then the rounds stay a little bit longer, but it's still just, you know, you could, oh, that would have killed me right there, that one hit, because I'm kind of playing it fast. This guy spends his life to get better items, so he's kind of a dangerous character if you're trying to play him too fast and loose. Like, I only got 2 hit points right now, so things hit for about 10, so I can't get hit even once right now. I'm playing the definition of instagib. Anybody here know what instagib is? I don't even know if they still do that anymore in games. I know there's some games that are close to that, but I don't think there's anything that's actually considered instagib anymore. Not in the way that we used to do it in Unreal. So, but I should start getting hit points right here. So these weapons that I have, when they kill things, they give me extra hit points. That's the cool thing about these ones. Oh, it's a fun game. Definitely a fun game. Let's take the harvesting. Take a tree, take some range. Take some more attack speed. Save that. And more hit points. Better weapons. Alright, we'll be reasonable. That's as far as we're going right there. Alright. Yeah, we only have 6 hit points, so we don't have a whole bunch of hit points right now. It's pretty much one hit would kill me right now, regardless. Even when I'm full life, which I'm not yet, because I bought a thing called a Strange Ghost, And that strange ghost caused me to, you start with 1 hit point, whatever your actual hit points are. So I might be able to take 1 hit right now, maybe, but I don't want to risk it. All right. Unreal Tournament was so much fun. I played the shit out of that game. Such a big fan of Unreal. Yeah, nothing there for us. All right, let's go kill more monsters. So the lore of Brotato is you landed on their planet, and they're like trying to, I don't know, eat you or something. But well, you just kill them. That's the lore. I don't know what other lore there is, but I know that that is the part that I read. So then for the second version of the game where you go into the abyss, you're fighting, these are all different monsters, but they are, you know, again, trying to protect their planet from you, and you're just in here killing them. I think it's kind of funny, but that's just me. Nice. Alright, we'll take it. Take it. We'll take armor. That's fine. Don't want any of that crap. Don't want any of that crap. We'll take more hit points. Take this and attack speed. More attack speed. And more damage, but also more enemies. We'll take it. And we'll roll one more time. Since we have the other one, we'll get one. You can only have 4 of these, but they make you do fire damage. So, well, screw it. We'll do fire damage, I guess. Yeah, you just kill them. You just take everything from them. They don't deserve to live in the abyss anymore. It's my planet now. Also, the average Brotato has 6 hands, but there's some Brotatos that can have up to 24 hands, and some of them get them different times. Some of them get them different ways. One Brotato only has 1 arm. Oh, there's actually Bull. He doesn't have any arms. B-U-L-L. He doesn't have any. But he explodes whenever he takes damage, so he's an interesting character because you can really build up his damage huge, but he has to take damage to do damage. So he's an interesting character to play. He's kind of got an interesting arc if you're trying to win with him because he has really high healing and really high armor too. So he basically just runs into a bunch of monsters and just murks them. But yeah, it's funny. Boris, question went back to Pop OS dual boot, and I will need to do a few things, but I lost my grub. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I can tell you most of us probably haven't dual booted in... I haven't dual booted a Linux system in probably close to 15 years. But maybe, for sure, the last 12 years I haven't dual booted a system. So I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I don't need it. Like I haven't used it for anything in a long time. But if you still have a use case for it, do it. You know, if you can find a good use case. I don't have any good use cases for myself for that, but I'm not saying it's wrong. Oh, so you always got the thought about going to nuclear. So nuclear is great. It goes off of your range damage and your elemental. So then you start thinking about elemental stuff as well. But we're going to hold on to that because that's probably something we're going to want to do. Is go that nuclear option. We'll do a lot more damage with that thing because it'll just blow up whole swaths of enemies. And that's always valuable. Plus, once you start to pivot towards a weapon, more of them show up. So it's always good if you find a good weapon like that to think about going that way. This character can use any weapon, so it actually is a good idea for me to pivot over there. I only picked these weapons to start because they're so good at getting him high hit points. Every 13th enemy, you'll see me just... Every 13th enemy with each weapon, so very soon here you'll see a bunch of them. You'll just see those little hearts pop out of me, and that's just me raising my hit points. Permanent hit points that this guy uses in the shop, though. He's the only character that he's the demon. He sells his hit points to get items, so it's kind of fun. Again, guys, you know we're not working very hard today or tonight. Let's go with we're gonna buy a nuclear launcher. Screw it. so you guys can see what that one is. That's a super fun gun. And we're just going to keep moving up. This would be stupid because we would lose 7 hit points to get 8 hit points. And then we would just lose 2 dodge and 2 knockbacks. So this doesn't make any sense right here. Alright, anyways. We always want this little guy. We'll take him. We'll go ahead and lose a little dodge, but not yet. And not yet on that. We'll take crit too, but we'll save it for the next wave. Alright, let's kill some bad guys. Boom, dead. Boom, dead. Ha! Oh, I love that stupid nuclear thing. And my attack speed's way up, so it's going off really fast. And when you get a bunch of those, it's a... I'm not going to say that it's a guaranteed win in the game, but it's a high probability of a guaranteed win. Like you really have to mess up to lose once you have that thing landing on everybody. And then aside from, you know, just not being killed by enemies, you just basically see me run around and hoover up money and experience. That's what all the stuff on the ground is. Just money and experience. And if you don't grab it one level, then you get it the next level as double. But it's well, you don't get it as double, you get it with the one before it, but it's still kind of slow. Oh, Linux developer, let me know how those are if you don't mind. Like, are those systems, if those systems are pretty good, I might think about getting some of those, because I could see some fun things for us to run out there. You get more transfer limits, so it's a better deal. Okay, okay. I like that. Yeah, I might check out that little nerd thing. I don't mind helping out in a little organization. I mean, they seem like they're around the country at least, so they're not too small, but I don't mind tossing them a nickel, especially if it helps out the professional Linux users group a little bit. Mr. Intake asked, do I have a duo PC setup? Not the way you probably think. Well, I mean, like, if you're asking, like, I used to have 2 PCs on my desk along with 5 monitors, but no, currently I'm running 3 systems in a half rack behind me, and those are virtualized with XCP-ng. So those are a bunch of, they are Linux boxes themselves, and then they run virtualization as a hypervisor type 1, and then I have a bunch of Linux inside of them. And then that Linux I jump into here, and then from my P01 Jump 1 box, I can jump around within my environment and show you guys about what's going on in my labs, or, you know, whatever other things I might be dealing with at the time. I actually do have some stuff I need to do on this box. Where is it? I will press up 1,000,000 times. Alright, I can control S it. Here it is. Alright. This one's definitely right there. Alright. See if anybody's been hitting these. I've been kind of curious if anybody's been hitting these. Yeah, it looks like some people are. People are probably doing some ratchet shit. Yeah. 41008. I gotta get back to building that stuff. I've been really lazy about that. That's one of the reasons I popped in there right now, is while we're sitting here talking, I can... Yeah, Boris, thanks for coming. You're always welcome to kind of hang out when you're here. But no, I don't run 2 PCs sitting right here in front of me. I just have my one laptop that's a Dell G15. It's like a gaming laptop with 64 gigs of RAM. And oh, I did want... What the hell? Oh, what the heck's wrong with me? I of course want explosive damage. I got a fucking big explosive weapon. Gosh. I can't believe I just did that. Well. Alright, well, we'll figure it out. Combine that. We'll take more elemental damage. And then more range. Take a little more elemental damage. We need to get our speed back up though. So need to be keeping an eye on that. Yeah. We do want that. And we will want attack speed, and we'll take that. And that's good for now. We don't need to get too greedy. By the way, I can aim if I want, but most of the time I let the auto aim go because it does a pretty good job for me most of the time. Yeah, my guy seems really, really slow on the screen right now. I've slowed him down much too much, so I need to start loading him back up here with some speed. So. All right. Come on, system. We're doing pretty good damage, and yeah, that nuclear launcher was a pretty good option. Yeah, so he's just murking everything, and we have penetration, which means that it'll go off, it'll go through somebody, and it'll go off again. So that's an even better perk of that weapon if you have it tuned out right. You guys might not be able to see it, but it's hitting people, exploding, and then going and exploding behind the original explosion, so that's kind of a big deal. Oh, this data center tech this comes from one of the people in the server had posted a while back about we had posted jobs that people were looking for. Yeah, Linux, I'll think of some. And 22 gigs usable. That's way more than I need. Because if I do 2 4 gig boxes, which is still like nothing, I could do a few different things with them. But that's I made a game with zombies in it. That's funny, Mr. Intake. Yeah, that's probably a good game. I really like games where I just run around and kill stuff, and they're fun. Oh, but this question was so what we sometimes do on stream here, AFI, is I will go through like a job posting. So this was a job posting that somebody had said, hey, this is something I'd want to do, and then I would come in and I would talk about like, you know, what I would go study or look at or understand. So do I understand my TIA, EIA, 568 A and B standards? Do I know what those are? Can I document and draw out a cable tool? So look at elevation diagrams. Get decent at some graphing drawing tool. You don't have to be an expert unless you're going to go be a drafter, but you should have a basic understanding of some graphic drawing tool like Excalidraw or something like that, where you can draw up all the ports and show where they're going and show where the cables are going. So another big part of this is going to be get your hands on or study how to use a basic toner. Learn cable management techniques, right? Like, just learn how you would like a cable system to look, Maybe practice a little bit of cable management and then show somebody what your work looks like. There's some really good, really nice looking cable management out there in the world. And these are things that you need to know and study and understand for all of these things, right? So anyways, that's what it is. That's what data center tech is sometimes I'll just walk through and talk to the different topics of a thing. And I've spent many, many tens of years in data centers now. So, you know, I've got some experience in that space. Attack speed. I want a lot of attack speed on this guy. We want explosive. We want damage. Damage. Explosive size is huge. And we're going to want them, if they're getting hit with elemental, and if they're getting hit with fire here, we're going to want them to take more damage. So we're going to hold on to that. And we'll take another scepter, because we can just keep leveling those scepters up. Alright. Alright, let's see if we can make it without dying. We don't have a whole lot of hit points. 26 is not a lot of hit points. Not at wave 11. So, I don't think... You guys might not have seen me get hit this round. I might have been hit once in one level, but... the goal with this character is really to... like, hopefully get very high power, so monsters never really get near hitting you. And then you're really... That's your defense is a really good offense on this guy. So... And I've beaten the other version of the game with this guy, but I've never beaten this version of this game with this guy. So, yeah, we're doing pretty decent damage too. So, I mean, provided I don't do anything dumb and just run right into monsters, for the most part, I'm pretty safe. That guy just happened to charge me before I realized he was there, but for the most part, none of these guys are too bad. We're not going to take that crap. We'll take more damage. Take this. Piggy bank's good, but it's a little late, so I don't care. Take some regen. We always want this. Well, this gives us more when we recycle things, but I will take it. Ah, lucky coin. We're going to hold on to that. We're not going to buy that just yet. But we are going to make our first epic over here. So, epics are just the highest level of weapons you can get. And basically you just keep combining your weapons up. So, none of those are needed right now. So let's see if we can do this. So, when you have a horde wave, that just means that there's going to be basically an unmanageable amount of enemies on the screen. And that's a problem. But I have a really good, that explosive weapon that I have, the nuclear launcher. It's really, really good at handling big waves of enemies. So while they are not looking completely unmanageable now, most of the time when you're on one of these levels, you are just simply running for your life the whole time. We're doing a pretty good job of keeping it under control, though, mainly because that gun can mostly clear everything with one explosion like that. If these guys were just a little stronger, or my gun was hitting just a little less hard, this would still be a really, really difficult level. But right now, that's not as bad as it normally could be. Sometimes you're literally just running around the outside trying not to die. So that wasn't too bad. That wasn't a great round, but it wasn't a bad round. We want the range damage and the attack speed. We'll take luck. We'll take the lucky coin, and then we're going to build up our crit. And let's keep going. We'll take more attack speed. Oh, another nuclear launcher. Yes. Alright, we'll take it. You're going to twist our arm and make us take them, sure. We'll also take that. And then take more attack speed. And then we'll hold on to this guy for later. That's good. One more. Bag is good. You get more materials whenever you pick up one of those treasures. And we'll take that. Oh, look at that little thing. 55% chance to explode on hit. It's a level 4, some legendary weapon. We might want this one. Also, we'll want that. So, all right, let's go beat up some more monsters, and then be able to afford all the things that we want. It will never cease to be funny to me for just a whole explosion to just kill a bunch of monsters. That has made me laugh the entire time I've played this game. Like, all those monsters came on the screen thinking they were fine and they were going to come get me, and they just got shot in the face with a nuclear launcher, and it just killed them all right in their tracks, right as they showed up. That will always be funny to me the entire time I play this. Like my wife comes in here sometimes and I'm just giggling, and she's like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "They all stepped on a landmine," and she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got them all to step on a landmine. I think it's hilarious." Oh man, but it'll always be funny to me when big groups of these guys just explode into that little tasty experience or money. That will always funny for me. All right, good. We got enough regen. We need the luck. We'll take the crit. Man, what does this do? Causes enemies to explode, and then there's stuff going around, and it's based off of elemental damage. Gives you more curse, but I mean, why not? We could combine these guys and get it. We won't have a whole lot of hit points left, but you know what? You only live once, right? We're doing it. And if we're only at 22 hit points, we might as well be at 11. And we don't need to lock that anymore. And, oh man, look at that. We're going to hold on to that. And if we're at 11, we might as well just be at 1. So I'm going to start at 1 hit point, guys. This is terrible. All right. I wish I was mod to change the category. Oh, that's fine. I don't care. We're still talking tech, but I decided long ago I just don't care anymore. Like I stream for fun. I stream to hang out with you guys, and if people the main reason I stream is to tell you guys that we've got a Discord, right? Discord's always going to be free for you guys. Never going to charge you guys anything for it. We got about 3,200 people in there. We got a bunch of events. The event earlier had 30, well, not 30, probably like 10 people in it at one point, and then there were just people that kind of came and went throughout it, so there was a lot of stuff. Yeah. So, ads again? Man, this guy just keep hitting you guys with ads. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I can't help much with the ads, guys. They don't let us do this completely for free, even if we wanted to. They will always at least pop up some kind of ads in your face, no matter what we do. So, yeah, you guys are, but I mean, you're welcome to hang out, and I try not to work you guys too hard while we're doing stuff, and I try not to make you watch me play too many video games, but sometimes I got to show a little bit of video gaming. I'm playing on the hardest mode. Are you saying on like veteran, like? Oh yeah, well I'm playing on the hardest mode of this game, if that's what you're asking. Oh, I gotta turn this other thing off for a second. Sorry. It makes it too choppy. Alright. I can't believe how far that sword's shooting out. That's pretty nice little weapon there. Alright. We're at our 13 hit points, but again, if we get hit once, we're dead, and it doesn't if you have 13 hit points, it doesn't matter if you get hit once or twice. I mean, you're the average guy at this level is probably hitting for about 50. So I mean, I'm not going to survive that. So the goal, man, that thing is doing a lot of fucking damage. That little sword with its laser beam, or its little lightning bolt, or whatever the heck that is wild. Because that thing's bouncing around and hitting a bunch of different guys. I'm curious to see if it gets all the damage, because at the end of the level you can see damage, and man, that's like, I don't know if you guys can see that. That thing's bouncing around and hitting everything on the screen. So, screw it. We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it. Damage. And we will take more XP, more engineering gain, a little less hit points, more experience. We can't use that. Oh, excuse me. We don't need that for now. We normally really like this, but one more. All right, we'll hold on to that. All right, we got to kill a boss this one, so let's kill the boss real quick. We're doing good damage, so we should kill him relatively quickly. Gotta stay away from his charges, though, because he will charge you and murder you. Oh, we dodged it. He did get us with that last red one, but we dodged it. So, not that I dodged it. The character, through some random number generation managed to dodge it. I physically got hit with it. Which is kind of a funny thing. Like, you get dodge on top of your ability to just move out of the way of things, which I think is kind of funny. It's really just like a freebie hit sometimes, is all dodge. Oh, is all dodge really is in this game. Because if you were to just keep dodging, it wouldn't matter if you had dodge or not. So that's why some people that are good at this game actually don't build or care about dodge at all. I'm not one of them, but extra stomach, one of the best items in the game. If you pick up hit point, or if you pick up those little fruit while you're full, it gives you 1 extra max hit points. So it's like one of the best items in the game, because if you're full, running around and getting fruit, you're just constantly getting more and more hit points, which is really nice. Wow, that's a really good gun to have too. But we're not going to worry about it right now, and we'll take the diploma. And we won't take this time, but we will take this. So celery tea will give 100. So every enemy on this next level is going to be twice as hard to kill. He's going to have double hit points. But maybe we can make it. Maybe we can survive, guys. Who knows? Oh gosh, no. There's no way we're going to survive. I don't know if you guys just saw how long it took for me to kill one enemy. No, we're dead. There's no way. We'll try. We're going to give it a college try. Which you guys know from my college students, I tell you all the time, a college try is not a very hard try. But now that we're almost to full hit points, now if we grab this, we're going to have 2 extra hit points right there. Boom. So we took 2 more hit points. Another one, another one, another one. So we're getting more max hit points right there every time we grab one of those fruit. So that's super cool. Up to 8 per level. So that is very nice. A very nice thing to have. You guys got to remember, these enemies have twice the hit points they would have, so they will be much easier in all the future levels. So I hate this weapon. It gives you 20 plus damage, but every time you get hit, it takes -2. So if you do happen to get hit 10 times in a level, that's a net loss. We'll take luck and dodge. Take armor. Take luck. Take damage. We'll take regen and then luck. We'll take baby with a beard, where when you kill somebody, now you do more damage and more luck. And we're going to take the heavy bullets for more range damage. And then we got a boss coming up here, so we got to try not to die. All right, no more buying stuff. Let's see what boss we got. We should be able to beat him, hopefully. He's pretty reasonable most of the time. Oh, there you go. He got me once and dead. Ah, man. All right, wasting my time. All right, what are we doing here, guys? All right, what I could be doing here, guys, is rebuilding. We could start with the simplest of pages. I could rebuild that. That would be good. Just have a static page for our prologue group. Let me pull this other thing up so I can see you guys talking again. Sorry, I had to close it down because it was killing my screen. Yeah, Mr. Intake, it only took 1 hit. I realized when I bought that stupid the ranged bullets, I only had 20 hit points left, and I was like, I shouldn't have done that. But that guy, I have that boss pretty much down, but he can sometimes get you. And my character wasn't super fast. I was only at 0 So I wasn't high or low on mobility, but you guys will find like your character doesn't like turn on a dime in that game. He kind of slows down, and if I had kept going, I'd have been fine. But I started to slow, and then it got me. So it is what it is, Not that big of a deal. Now we turn these back on too, so we can loop through and talk about this stuff. But yeah, GNS3 is great for some of you guys that want to maybe build out, some of this stuff and see, if you've never done some of this topology stuff, you can have a pretty good career building out systems if that's something that's interesting to you. Yeah, no, Razushi, you're welcome to hang out. We're not working too hard. I normally get on like early on Fridays because it's the end of the week and we're chilling. But I had to pull, that client that I was telling you guys out in Hawaii, where while I was out there, we got told, well, okay, so it's my fault. Let's full disclosure here, it's my fault. I was showing the training procedures, and I made like 42 labs for them, and I made all this stuff and all this training. There was like 250 slides and all this training I did, and I thought I put a lot of work into it, and it was really good for them. And what happened was, one of the things I said was, well, we really need to test a full shutdown and startup procedure from bare metal so that we could walk through it all and this and this. And they go, well, yeah, we should do that while you're out here. And we kept pushing off, and then Thursday was my last day out there. And this was 2 weeks ago now. And we didn't do it. So then they tacked that on. This is terrible. This is why you never open your mouth. But 4 days of training, I mean, you're going to hear me talk a lot. So what happened was, hey, Rob, how's it going? Raiding with a party of 21. I appreciate it. Yeah, have fun chatting with the wife. I am not working too hard. I am just hanging out, and we're looking at different tools and things that exist out there, and I appreciate you guys coming by. We were looking at jobs for people, so the data center tech stuff down there, we were talking about jobs and some of the responsibilities and things that people are going to ask you. And these come from real job. These were all real job things. And then what I think you need to go look up and understand to do these jobs, because I've done all of these different jobs. Oh yeah, there's a deal. So the deal is, where did it go? I closed it down, didn't I? The deal is over on this site called What was it called? Nerd Wallet? No, what was it? It was Nerd something. Rack something? Yeah, Rack Nerd 1-in-1. So there was this little sale going on, and it's I don't know if you're still here for a second, but that's not a bad deal. That's per year. So if you needed like a little 4 gig box to just run at $3 a month, that's not a bad little box. I think Linux developer said that he was using Linux. Did you do a couple of these ones, the 1 gig ones? I mean, guys, even if you were just talking like you wanted to set this up somewhere out there, you got 2 gig box. That's what are you flipping them? Not even $1.50 a month right there for that. That's pretty okay, guys. That's pretty good. That's so to compare that, you would have to have that for 5 years to even spend $100 on just that little server, which could be like your little test box for just about anything you wanted to bounce off it. And I'm like, that's, in my mind, that's pretty good, you want to give somebody access to your server and you don't want to have the problem of having them in your home environment. You can do that. Shunya, we are just hanging out, talking about stuff and kind of looking at the environment. I'm going to take a break here in a second and just, we're not working too hard because I was working. I told you guys I normally get on about 3 or 4 o'clock my time on Friday, and it's like the end of the week or whatever. But that's when we started the downtime. So I took a cluster that we have out in Hawaii all the way down to bare metal, all the way down to nobody could touch it for 5 minutes. The data center techs actually had to go and physically power off the CDUs to the racks. There was no power. And then we had it wasn't a race, let's not call it a race, but power the system back up in order. So I had a procedure that I had built of a full system rack startup, and what does that look like? And that's actually something we're going to be doing in the Professional Linux Users Group soon. I'm going to have you guys think about what does a full startup of our system look like from bare metal? What are the requirements? What thing has to come up before another thing comes up? And what does our requirement tree kind of look like, right? We do think about this, even though you probably don't think about it often. In a Linux server, you do have systemd analyze critical chain for any service you have. Did you guys know that? sshd.service. You can see how that service started up in your system and what the requirements were to get there. And you can see if something broke and how it broke. So there's there's so many things that, like, if you're an operator of a system, that you may think about or not think about in what we call the run book. The run book is for lack of a better term, it's like your Bible of how this system is going to work. You need instructions for this, go to this day. You need instructions for this, go to that day. So this command, if something's ever broken, so if you do system CTL status list units status equals what's the status? Failed, right? And you could see status. This units. What? Status equals failed. That should be right. System CTL list units. Oh, it's state equals failed. Sorry, state equals failed. This will tell me, in this case, in this system, my network manager busted. And then I can go look at, well, why the hell did network manager bust? And then I can start to go figure things out in my environment. Well, all of those things came up, but then the network manager wait online service never worked, and then I can go dig in, right? You could see state failed, or state masked, I'm pretty sure. Not always, though. You could just do list units and see everything, too. So list units, let's pipe that through more. That'll show you all of them, and it'll show you if it's load, if it's active, and sub. It'll show you the different things. So you'll have. I got another command for this. Yeah, it tells you what's going on here. You can also, somebody showed me this the other day because I was doing the list units one like I did. You could just say failed like that. I didn't know this. That was a new one. Somebody showed me that the other day. This command is my normal way of doing it. Whoops, failed. But you can skip it all with that. System CTL failed. Just tell me what's failed. And then I can dig in more and I can say system CTL cat network manager wait online. And now I can see how did it try to start and what was it doing and does it remain after, and what's the timeout for it, 60 seconds, and what does that mean? I have never read that before. That's one of the funniest effing things I've ever read in my life. This is 100% accurate too. No, that's funny. I kind of want to put that as part of, like, when you ask me a question in Discord, sometimes it gets delayed. But you need to know that the answer is not to keep asking me the same question over and over again, but to fix your question so that the connected state of the right answer gets answered to you faster. No, that's super funny, though, because as a guy who's been building servers most of my whole career, I build servers and make them start up in a better and more optimized way. That is a super funny way to write that. Oh, I don't know if you guys... Yeah, you guys can read it all. Okay. Shouldn't be behind my penguin too much. Move it over a little bit. It's just really funny wording to me. Quality Linux? I mean, basics are DMI decode, to see what's going on with your memory, and you can figure out what the types are. I'll type it to you. D message grep-i for RAM. For RAM. Those are things that I would do. Obviously, free-m will show you about the memory, as will cat proc meminfo, but they won't tell you about. So you're on a virtual machine, so you've got to see what's being passed through to you to see information about how your memory is being used and started up and all that kind of stuff. So you'll get some hints inside of here. Yeah, DMI message is just great for seeing all kinds of different stuff about your system. All right, guys, I'm gonna go real quick, and I'll take a little walk around, and let me pull up my hourglass. Take 8-minute quick break. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask them. I mean, I try to answer questions if I can, anyways. You know, I try not to be too much of a college professor and just ignore your questions, or like a senior engineer and just go not answer or whatever. You know, I try to give you guys good info. But yeah, I'm gonna take a little break. You guys hang out. If you have questions, again, let me know, and keep working on stuff. All right, we'll take a walk real quick. Give me some more drink. All right, grab some water bottles. You guys know what I had for dinner earlier? The wife's out of town, so she couldn't stop me. I went over to, I was going to do Whataburger, which I like Whataburger. But then I started thinking about Carl's Jr., which for some of you guys is Hardee's. It's the same exact site, same exact place. I got a couple of their little, they got these little double jalapeno cheeseburger things. It sounds like a lot of food with two of them, but they're not very big. And I just munched on those things. They got pretty good jalapeno and cheese on them. So, yep, that's what I did for dinner, because the wife's not here to stop me and make me eat better. All right. Yeah, Yeah, these little things are, those are interesting little boxes, man. Purple TV, thanks for the subscription with Prime. You could use those anywhere, and you chose to use it here, so that's pretty cool. I appreciate that. Hopefully you don't get any ads for a while. Look at Ranger down there, guys. Now, Ranger has a whole fleet of tables behind him. Don't worry, they're off to the side. They're not that close to him, and they don't get in the way of him getting on his carpet anyways, which is the only place he likes to walk. But Ranger's getting ready. We're going to have a party here on Sunday. Yeah, hold on. What's today? Yeah, the 17th is the party, so it's Sunday. We're having all the family over. We got a bunch of island-themed stuff. Here's what I'll show you guys what the party looks like while we're still on break here. I think I put it in off-topic the other day. Yeah, me and the wife were prepping, so that's Ranger. That's his little camera down there, and that's where he's laying. Although I think his beds are flipped around right now, maybe. But those are the tables. Don't worry, we'll cover them, so it doesn't matter if they match. But the wife was putting stuff up on the wall for like almost said Halloween, for like a Hawaiian theme. And then she's also putting stuff up there. And then we move this back when people are here so people don't knock these bottles over. She collects bottles, the wife does. And then this was it without Ranger. Oh, this is a video, and what I was trying to get was this platform back here has a jellyfish on it, like in glass, and it glows. The platform glows a bunch of different colors, but then after watching it for 8 seconds, I realized it wasn't just my color blindness, but that it wasn't actually on the different colors. And then I think we'll take the Thanksgiving stuff down soon too, but that's just the wife. I let her do all the decorating, guys, and then there's Ranger. All right. I also thought I had another set of pictures. Yeah, Ranger cam, Ranger. That fucking dog, man. Look at him. He's the laziest creature you guys have ever seen. But he's a pretty good dog. So we keep him. This is him with his arm up in his own flab of his neck over here. Yeah. That was him at my brother's house while he was waiting for us to get home. And, guard dog Ranger, that's funny. That was Ranger at Tommy's house when we were in Hawaii. One of our other guys, fisherman, lost his little pet. He had a pet praying mantis for a day. So, alright. Anyways, good stuff up here. That's Sending Grounds and his dog. His dog actually has 3 people tattooed right here on its neck. Because one time they were walking her at the groomers, and somehow when the person was bringing her in, they accidentally kind of closed the door on her a little bit, which is startling to a dog to have a door close on it. And she bit the handler, and then somebody else was in the room with their dog, and I don't know how, but she bit her, and then another handler came over and she bit them too. So I told Sending it's kind of good that she managed to get 3 kills. I'm just kidding. And then people post their animals, their dogs and stuff in here. So, all right, anyways. That's enough of that. We're on break, but it doesn't mean we have to mess around too much. Yeah, hopefully Linux developer, that got you closer to kind of what you're dealing with on the system. There's some speed tests you can do in your environment. Very common one is Linpack benchmark it to see what kind of speeds you get. I mean, I could show you other ways to just abuse the box if you want, but I'm talking about like if you're telling me, hey, you know, Scott, I want to see how it actually performs as a system, you can run the Linpack benchmarks on it and just see how it goes. It's the original benchmark, and you can go look at what it does if you want, but it is the standard by which we judge our high-performance compute systems. That's how you get on the top 500 is your Linpack score. So if you didn't know that, you're learning something new today, people. If you did know that, good. I'm just kidding. I don't care that much. I don't care at all, actually. But that is something that you guys can do. And I am leaning far away from my microphone, so you guys are just gonna have to read my voice, I guess, now for a little bit. All right, we got choices, guys. We can play more Brotato. We could keep talking about the jobs. I could work. Oh, I have college stuff. Some of you guys liked the. I don't know that many people liked it, but I was doing some technical review stuff last night, and we were reading some documentation on. Oh, actually, so yesterday we were talking about the cost of like training and retaining and keeping an engineer happy versus losing them, and the general industry opinion is that it costs twice as much money to get a new engineer into a position than to try to retain the one that is there. And I thought that was really funny. You know, you're gonna lose me at X salary and have to pay, you know, nearly twice that to get another person in my spot. You know, well that kind of knowledge should incentivize managers, if they're reading and training and paying attention to that stuff, to keep their engineers happy. And that's kind of one of the things. I have two paths for my dissertation that I might take, and actually I really need to pick because my residency starts in 2 weeks, so I gotta kind of pick what I'm gonna do. If I go with the educating engineers to keep them engaged and like satisfied in a company, and keep and retain engineers, then if I do that, then I need to excuse me, I need to start gathering a bunch of research for that, a bunch of data around that. If I stick with what I have been doing, which is looking at red teaming activities and their efficacy in actually stopping any attacks, then I'll just, I have all the material for that to run the residency. But if I jump over to this training, because you guys got to remember, I've been teaching for 16 years professionally as a college professor. I've been mentoring engineers my entire career. I've been running this Linux group for 10 years now, and you know, trying to get. I've probably gotten, you know, through this group over 100 people into Linux, so that feels pretty good. But I've trained as a college professor over 5,000 engineers now. And anyways, my point is, if I were to do a dissertation around the business aspects of keeping engineers and retaining them with other than monetary type benefits, right? Because like obviously you could just keep trying to pay your engineers more, but at some point, you know, there's diminishing returns on how much you could pay people. There really is, and I know people don't believe. I'm telling you right now, you won't believe that until you start making engineer money. But when you make engineer money, there's a diminishing return on how much more actually matters, you know? So, anyways, something to think about. Fire hazard, my company is definitely struggling with retention, is going to keep struggling with it, both a culture and a pay gap, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm sure. There's a lot of stuff like that. Yeah, Linux developer. We got to get everybody here in the field. I need more of you in the field so I can get more of you to come talk to the group. And then more of you coming and talking to the group will get more of you guys out in the field. And then eventually what will happen in this Discord, the whole reason I run this Discord is for the one day when the number of memes in here shifts from all me. Look here, one person did it, now me. Somebody else, somebody else, somebody else, me, somebody else, me, somebody else. What I need is the shift to where I'm just harvesting memes from you guys instead of being the one, me. That fucking statue. Fisherman, but I've also posted that. Me. other people. Me. Just a lot of me. I need the meme pyramid. Yeah. This needs to be a self-fulfilling, and it needs to get to a point where then I have a bunch of you streaming, so that you guys are bringing in more people to satisfy even more memes. In fact, if we have to break the meme channels out into subgroups, I'll do it. The plan was always memes, man. Oh yeah, there's nothing in Australia. That sucks, man. I mean, yeah, Razushi, if you're stuck with... Yeah, I mean, look, guys, sometimes you got to go do data center work. Sometimes you got to find a network operations. Like we can't, and I was, this is one of the things we were looking at, is we can't just type, Linux in there. Sometimes we got to go look at other things, and then, and they're adjacent, but they get us in. So, I'm actually interested if there's any data center work in Phoenix. I'm very, very interested. Engineer data center, mechanical stuff. But data center. Network, they want you to be able to do some network stuff. Data center tech, these are staffing firms, so you would probably be on like a 2 to 6 month contract. But here's the thing, don't shy away if you guys are trying to get into the industry. Don't shy away from jobs that are one of the nice things about working contract work is you're going to get to deal with new, probably high technology, like new stuff, so you'll get to put on your resume. And two, you spend a little bit of time getting up to speed and figuring out what they need, but then you get a lot of experience in that space, and then you can move somewhere else if you don't want to stay with that. Let's see. Iron Mountain. Oh man, Iron Mountain. You want to go schlep tapes around? Boom. Data center tech. Out at Iron Mountain. What do these guys want you to know? Got to manage the data center? Well, it doesn't have much. Plans, budgets, schedules, repairs, modifications, critical facilities. Technical expertise, tasking, training, and oversight to facility team members. So you're kind of like a lead, it looks like, almost here. Yeah. A lot of skills here. A lot of things you might have to read about or understand, right? Gotta go spend some time reading. There's actually data center standards out there. And you could go start to read about, well, ISO 14000, but this is what I was thinking is the BICSI data standards, right? And then you could go and learn about these standards. You don't have to go take a class and pass their certs, but you can at least understand what's going on inside of a data center. How much is this book? Sign up below for a free preview. You can get digital and print, digital only, and printed copy. All right, it's like a textbook. It's expensive, but I can guarantee you could write that off if you're doing some kind of training. But yeah, look, here's what you need to think about in your data center, and probably more. But here's the minimum stuff, right? Here's some management tools you might want to go learn about, right? Anyways, lots of good stuff. My point is, you might not get directly in Linux to start. You might. I mean, I came in through networking. I didn't even know really what Linux was when I got in, and then I started doing stuff, and I did this one Linux project that was pretty cool. The Linux developer, what labs or what ads are they giving you, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, they flip me a whole nickel for every time I'm on Linux developer. I think my ads are set pretty high, and then also some of you guys probably know this if you hang out at all. I didn't want my VODs in two places, and my VODs didn't stay here on the Twitch side, so I just turned them off on the Twitch side for people. But they're 100% free over on YouTube forever. So like, I mean, I think that that's fair. Like people that want to watch the VODs, because like I have this weird thing where in on the Twitch side, because I have Turbo, they're also like, oh hey, and now here's 60 days worth of VODs for you, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And I don't need VODs like that are just gonna do that and then go away. Yeah, I'm not even watching that stuff. That's on Netflix. I could have had that on, but nah, I'm just hanging out. The wife's out of town, so the thing I really have to do is focus on. I've got a paper to write for school, but I don't consider a 750 to 1,000 word paper even barely mentionable. That's basically like 4 posts of my college stuff, so that's like nothing. Um, like I have to do 250 words a post for my college posting. So, Rizushi said, "Do you think stuff like networking fairs are actually worth going to? Like, how many people actually make use of them? I walked into a few, but it's confusing to me about how to move from that into a job opportunities." Yeah, Rizushi, I never got into that, and I don't really like being out in public. That's one of the benefits of having been in combat as an infantryman. I really don't like groups of people anymore. You know, but at least I know that about myself, right? So I don't like any of that stuff. What I try to do is, you know, I try to have a nice sharp resume that's 1 page, tells you stuff about me that I think is relevant. Anything on there I can talk to quite a bit about if you wanted to ask me about it. You know, and then if I'm looking for work, I send that out kind of far and wide, right? Like I'll apply to a bunch of places, right? I'm not even gonna probably I don't get called back from 95% of them. I don't, even with master's degrees, I don't get called back from all kinds of places. You'd be surprised, guys. Think like, oh, he's got a bachelor's or a master's, he gets called back all the time. No, fuck no, you don't. I get a whole bunch of useless recruiters that want to talk to me about bullshit, but they're never wanting to talk about like real work, you know? So, I mean, and then I've told you guys this, like, probably the last 8 or 9 jobs I've gotten or worked in my career, moving from place to place typically to make more, have all been because people pulled me over there that knew me. Like some kind of engineer or some kind of manager that I had worked with was like, oh, get Scott. Scott's the guy that'll fix that problem. And then I do. And then I hang out there for a few years, and then I typically move on and do something else. Although I do really kind of like where I've landed now, even though my boss has me doing some kind of like challenging stuff for me. All that Stig stuff you guys saw me doing and all that training. Like, I don't mind training. I enjoy training actually quite a bit. But writing training is a lot of hard work. There's a lot of work to squeeze 250 slides out of your brain and organize them in such a way that they effectively show people how to use the system, you know. Give people 6 months of your hard work down into, you know, 4 days of training. That's hard to do. And well, it's hard to do and do it well where they're happy with it. Yeah, the dice, yeah. Yeah, that's funny. There's a good amount of places here in Phoenix, it seems, for data center stuff. Let's see what a data center does at Oracle. They want you to be career, like, that's mid-career level stuff. Now look guys, I'm going to be 100% honest. And I don't know, like, again, if you're in your 20s, maybe your early 30s, you got maybe younger family, or maybe you don't even have a family yet, you're still bachelor, bachelor, or I don't know what's the other term, bachelorette. If you don't want to work a night shift, that's fine. But I guarantee you that you fall into the same category as 90% of the rest of people. So, what I'm about to tell you then is, when you look between day shift and night shift, I can guarantee you this is a smaller pool you're going against. By an order of magnitude smaller. What that means is, let's say you can do hardware installation, you can create SOPs, you've written some SOPs, you know how to do some monitoring tools, but you don't know any of the rest of this stuff. By the way, nobody else is going to have a perfect resume either, but you're willing to work the night shift. Guys, third shift is like 8 at night to like 6 in the morning sometimes. I used to work an 8 to sorry, no, I used to work a 10 to 8 shift with not Lockheed, with GoDaddy when I worked at GoDaddy in 2006. That's a hell of a shift, man. I did not know what day of the week it was 95% of the time, guys. It was absolutely one of the most hellish things for me, but I toughed it out for 6 months. But it was hell. I didn't realize how hard that was going to be. I did not know. But I'm going to tell you right now that if you're okay with that and that works for you, some of you guys just shift right over into it and it's perfect for you. I don't know. I wasn't one of them. But there's all these things that you could go do, and then possibly move from this into somewhere else in Oracle. One of the guys I used to work with at AAA, he left us in 2021. He left us to go to Apple as a contractor. He was a contractor as an SRE, and they liked him and they brought him on full time. So what was that guy, what was his path to Apple, which is, by the way, guys, part of FANG or MANG or whatever you want to call it now? Well, his path there was contractor, SRE, and then he moved over and became a full-timer with it. That's a perfectly good way to get over there, guys. And you might ask, well, what did he get before he jumped over there? Guys, he got a Terraform certification, so he learned infrastructure as code, and he got an AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner cert. He passed those 2 certs, and he jumped over to Apple. He might not even have had to do that. He had a bachelor's degree in computer science, too, though, so that probably helped a little. But, I mean, that wasn't all that got him in the door there. He still had to go get on the contractor side of things. But my point is, guys, like, don't scoff at some of this when it may be 6 months to a year of the hard shift to then be able to prove yourself and move over to one of the more desirable shifts, or to prove yourself and become a manager if that's one of your goals. I don't want to be a manager, but hey, I know people that do really fucking well. I've worked with some people that make a lot of money managing data centers, and I can tell you right now, they barely know the difference. I bet you they couldn't tell you in 3 bullet points the difference between Linux and Windows, but they can run the shit out of a bunch of data center techs. I'm not saying they're dumb people. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is they couldn't hold a technical candle to probably anybody sitting here. But they got into a thing, and they're very good at their little niche. And by the way, they're probably making more than me. They're in the couple hundred thousands, maybe even in the 300,000s, just running a data center. That's all they're ever gonna do. That's fine work, guys. It's fine work. Nobody's gonna. No, my grandkids. I have a grandkid, by the way. I would have had another one, but he passed away sadly. But my one grandkid, he's not going to ask me in 10 years or 15 years, how good of an engineer were you? He's not going to care about none of that stuff, But my point in that is, that doesn't matter. What matters is, that you get a good job and career and can, afford good things for your family, right? That's kind of the goal. You got to feed them and keep them warm first. Got to feed them, keep them warm and dry. And then after that, everything else is just gravy, right? Yeah, I'll tell you guys, I got passed over. I got passed over recently on a NASA gig that some of our guys work on already. So it wasn't like we were trying to earn NASA's work. We had guys over there running stuff, and the guy, our guy is a senior. He's like the team lead, so he couldn't, because he worked with me for so many years. He couldn't sit in the interview, and they turned me down. There were like 5 guys in the interview, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't think he's senior." And they went back, and the guy Chris, who works with him as their lead, he's like, "You fucking passed on Scott." He's like, "You guys are fucking insane." That's what he told them. He's like, "You guys are fucking insane. You told him he wasn't senior?" I'm a principal engineer, by the way, guys, in case you don't know that. But for this role, it was for like a sysadmin on about a 16,000 node NASA cluster. That, again, one of our other guys runs, and I work with him on. I was working on him with stuff just earlier today, and he was in there when I was booting those servers back up and getting that whole bare metal thing going. And he's worked with me for a long time. He highly recommends me. But yeah, they fucking don't. Like I don't let that. Like I mean, that bugs me a little. It miffs me a little because I'm like, none of these 5 people could hold. Like they couldn't tie my shoes, but like, I'm like, ah, you know, I don't. I rolled off my back, went and did other stuff. Went and kept building stuff. You know that they're mostly keeping all their stuff together because of my buddy Chris over there. It is what it is. Data center techs, good work. There's nothing wrong with doing some of that type of work. Let me show you guys something. I think I have this back here. Did I close it down? I don't see. It's not that one. It's not that. I was looking for one that was kind of a funny story that my brother had asked me for something. The Linux developer, can I make a quadlet thing for killer code? You do whatever you want, Linux developer. What are you trying to do? I mean, if you're talking about building labs in killer code, I can show you how to do that. I build all kinds of labs for them, but for them. Sorry, not for them, for them. Also, guys, I found something out. I can use this PowerPoint. I don't think it's working right now this way, but I can use this PowerPoint with the CC here to generate. I think I can save. Let me see. I haven't tried this. English. Oh, this is interesting. Hold on. What if I wanted to, hold on. What if I wanted to talk in German? Would that work? Is that working? Does anybody here speak any type of German? That is actually really cool. If that could actually properly work, that would be pretty good if that was a thing, because I could record things in other languages for people that wanted them then. Actually, some of the guys from India were telling me that they really like listening to my stuff. So if I knew that they were speaking a certain, Hindi or something, I would definitely do that. That's interesting. But anyways, no. I want to see. They have a thing. Hold on. I want to see. Those are Windows settings. No. I don't need Windows settings. I wanted to see if it would actually save these for me. Yeah, Linux developer. Did you see the one guy who has the really cool? He has a whole server that can translate anything to anything. Yeah. There's a guy doing that. Where's my Spanish? I know I can speak enough Spanish to know how good the Spanish is. So let's see how good this translation is. That's not bad. That actually looks pretty okay. So that could be an interesting thing, if we had a big enough group that was like, hey, Scott, could you give this discussion, but could you do it in that other language? I'd tell them, well, no, I can't do it in that language natively, but are you okay with reading it? That's pretty good for Spanish, guys. Yeah, that's not bad. I go to Spanish. I go to Mexico twice a year still for vacation and stuff, but I go further south. I wanted to see though. Let's go set it back to English at least. English. All right, back to English. But I thought there's a way. Actually, I'm pretty sure there is a way to save these off as we're doing them. But I think I have to set it up front, so I don't know exactly where we would do that. I don't know exactly. I can add. It's actually funny. I can add my camera and have my camera over there. through that. I was actually doing that earlier. Um, yeah, I don't need any of that. Just make sure I'm not seeing anything else. All right. Bottom overlaid, below, above, top overlaid. I wouldn't want top overlaid. I don't think ever. Yeah, that is really cool. I think that's really a interesting little technology they got there. It's like the Babel project, which is the idea of getting everybody back where anybody can talk and hear each other in their own languages. That shouldn't be too far away. I mean, with the ability to translate and do voices at pretty much the same time. So. You guys down in voice chat right now? There's yeah. By the way, if you guys ever catch anybody down in there, you can typically just join them. Linux chat's normally open. Study groups, we've got some study groups going where people will pop in there and do stuff. The Discord's always free. We've got 3,200 people in there. Almost, it's just wild. There's just always more people hopping in there. So the goal of our group is to help you go from being maybe an amateur and somebody who does this stuff for fun into somebody who can do this stuff professionally. And I really do think Linux is one of those vehicles to get into engineering. It's a vehicle to change maybe what your economic status might have been. Like I grew up pretty lower, like I can't even say lower middle class. I grew up like lower. And, my family didn't make much money, and we had 5 boys. So I had 4 brothers growing up, right? And then it's like, well, so we didn't have much. We didn't have any options for college, so we all mostly go in the Army. And then, everything else was kind of our own, like all the stuff we did. So. And GCU. Linux developer, how's your stuff going over at GCU? Mike versus Paul again. Various tech stuff. Oh, sorry. That's what your ads are. I see. Yeah. Your ads are always tailored to you. You guys probably know this. When I used to watch, I don't watch Twitch ads ever. I just have what's that called? A Turbo, right? So I don't have to watch it. And I got Turbo when it was like $8, and then now I think it's like $13 a month or something. But still, I just hate ads. I don't. Well, one of the ads they always showed me was like, "Don't kill yourself," and I'm like, "What the fuck you guys think I do? Like, you guys think I just sit around here and taste all my guns? Like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, I'm a combat infantryman, but I've literally never thought of that. I've had a fair amount of friends that have happened to, or have done that to themselves, however you want to look at that, but I've never even once. Like, that's just, I mean, I have way too many people. Oh, it did get dark. Guys, I have way too many fucking people that I would want revenge on before I do that shit to myself. Anyways, no, but that's one of the ads I used to fucking... Guys, I used to get these weird ads that were like, hey, make sure that you have your guns all locked up because you don't want to accidentally grab one and kill yourself. I used to get ads like that on Twitch. I was like, is that a challenge? What? And it was like, Scott, don't kill yourself. And I'm like, oh my God. And it would be like this person playing with a gun in a car, but in a lockbox, so they couldn't get to it, with like a tree right there that it looked like they were going to go out and hang themselves in the tree. The weirdest fucking ads I've ever seen in my life used to come on Twitch. But anyway, so I don't watch ads on Twitch. Sorry. All right. I'm done. Enough with the darkness. You're right. That did go kind of dark, didn't it? But you guys, yeah, like, I mean, I don't talk about it much, but like the infantry's pretty dark. Well, I mean, you're in the business of killing people, so you're not exactly trying to make friends and influence people, right? All right. What are we doing? We could build the site, but every time I go to build the site, I just get so tired of bullshit, and then I just don't build it. I need to do it though, so maybe I'll do it here in a little bit. I need to. Yeah, hopefully I didn't violate. I don't think I violate. I can't be violating terms of service if I'm actually telling people what their actual ads were. Could I? I would hope not. Um, all right. What I was going to show you guys was my Linux. Hold on. Do I have LVM in any of these docs? Oh, here it is. This is the right one. New 4. Let me save this. Save as. We're going to save this as, I don't know, Linux engineer questions. Technical. Okay, so you guys want to hear something funny? I'm going to show you guys something funny. I think this is funny. You guys might not think this is as funny as I do. These are my questions right here that I ask Linux engineers or platform engineers, right? So these are the questions right here that I ask Linux engineers or platform engineers. If you said, "Hey Scott, no time to prep. I just need you to come and talk to this guy for, 15, 20 minutes in a meeting. We've already been talking to him. We just want to see if he's actually technical and knows like the system." What would you ask him? And these are kind of like my high level questions right here, right? So, because of this, I had these questions, right? I'll show them to you here in a second. We've been through them before, but I'll show them to you guys. When I left, so what happened was when I left the Linux, so there's kind of a lot of what happened with me working at AAA, which is the big insurance company that I used to work at. And when I left there the first time, I left the Linux engineering team, and then the manager that I had at the time, Daniel Vigil, he left, and this former kind of tech lead for the engineering, for the database engineering team, her name was Samiksha, she took over for Linux team. Well, she reached out to me and said, "Hey Scott, would you come back and lead the platform team again? I'm losing Michael Pessa, M. Pessa, some of you guys know him." What's moderate? I might be missing something Linux. TTNTT. I don't know. Oh, Rizushi, you only see food ads? That's funny. I was talking too much. I didn't see that. Okay, so, moderate. I'm no expert. My server was... Oh, I see what you're saying. So, I try to draw it out a little bit. But, so here's... And by the way, I don't show them these questions. I ask them, right, to see what they say. But so what happened was, so when I got to the team and I was working for Samiksha, I built the team up, got a few other engineers in there, and then what happened was I put in for a role as the manager over the red team. The manager position opened, somebody had left, and they were like, "Hey, we want somebody," and I was like, "I've never been a manager in all my career, guys, just so you know." But I was going to suck it up because I was like, I bet they pay pretty good. And I was like, I'm going to go do that for a little bit, keep teaching, do some other stuff, and then I'll jump back over and get back in my Linux world, right? Well, I got over there and I interviewed, and they really liked me. And they said, but one of the architects, one of the security architects who had interviewed me, he while he was interviewing people said, "Oh shoot, I kind of want this job." So then he took the job and they gave it to him, and he sat back and said, "Well, I need somebody to come on and be very technically good at what they do, but I need them to be able to kind of be a team lead and bounce a lot of my security ideas off of and stuff." So he opened a new position for the red team technical lead, and he offered it to me. So if you guys didn't know, that's how I got that job. So when I tell you guys I was the red team technical lead for AAA, that's how I got the job. I interviewed for the manager position. I had conceded I will go be a manager for a little bit, even though for my whole career and for the whole time you guys have ever heard me stream, I'm like, I'm never going to be a manager. I was going to go be a manager, guys. I can manage a team of people doing security, right? I have pretty strong opinions on how security can happen. I've secured both personnel and property, and also systems for a long time, right? Well, anyways, so I didn't get that job, but I did get the new job that they opened up, which, by the way, like was throwing me in the the Brer Rabbit, and how the Brer Rabbit got tossed in the briar patch. I was like, oh no, I get to go over there and still get hands-on keyboard and also still get like a big raise, and oh no. So I did that, right? I jumped over there. And what happened was when I left that team, that team that I had been on for about a year and a half, the manager Samiksha kind of got really mad at me. But Samiksha's too nice, and she never said anything. She just never talked to me again. We talked one time before I left when she found out I was leaving to come back to Redline, and she was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be sad to see you go," and this and this and this. And I was like, I wanted to tell her like, Samiksha, you haven't talked to me, but that's just her way or whatever, right? Well, anyways, where I'm going with that? Hold on, guys. There's something that's funny about this. My brother John still works for that company. He's coming to talk to you guys tomorrow. But what happened was they didn't have anybody to ask the questions of the new engineers that they were hiring. So they asked my brother John to come, instead of asking me to come back and help, which I would have gladly done. They asked my brother John, and my brother John came to me and goes, "Hey Scott, can I get those questions?" And I said, "Absolutely, yeah, of course." I mean, what am I gonna do? Leave my brother hanging? But also the funny thing was they wanted to not need me so bad, but they still needed me. So varlog is inputs for journal CTL and anything that's defined in syslog. So watch in rsyslog.conf or rsyslog.d. Let's do something. Let's grep-v anything that's anchored to the front with that, right? And yeah, that's fine. Well, we could probably strip that down more, but that's the file, right? Let me hold on. That's good enough. I could go find the regex to strip that down more. But the point is, all of these things are syslog style messages, and they're all getting written out. If you ever wondered how your system defines where things are going, it's our syslog. Syslog is what's taking system messages of info, your .info, your mail, your authpriv, your cron, all of these messages that are happening, anything emergency, UUCP, news, crit, these things are getting written here because of this definition file right here. If you go take all this away, if you go like pound these all out and comment them all out, you won't have any messages going in there. Did you guys know that? Yeah, your info messages are going in here. Your emergency messages are going in here. I don't know what that is. And then your auth-priv messages are going in varlog secure. Yeah. So I expect even somebody that's got 20 years of experience to answer this question completely different than I would. You guys got to understand my job, and like when somebody asks me to come do a technical interview, I don't treat that like other people I know do. I do not take that as a job like for me to trip that person up and stand atop them as the only person that knows Linux. I think that's a fucking stupid way to live. Most of you guys know this. I really get pissed. Most of you guys have seen me get really pissed if you've been around. When somebody just comes in here and is like the very first thing they ever say is, "I'm smarter than you, I'm better than you at Linux." I'm like, I don't care. I mean, I care that you thought to come in here and do that, but I don't care that you're smarter than me. I work, you guys have no idea some of these engineers I've worked with, how smart they are. Like, I had no idea until I met some of them how smart these people are. There are people that are smart at a level that I will never even be close to. So, that being said, how can I still be super useful? Well, I'm very good at building stuff. I'll be over here building stuff. And I'll tell you what, like, any person that if you were to ask me, like, hey, how smart was that guy? The smartest guy I ever worked with. I guarantee you they'd turn around and go, Scott's really good at what he does. They might not call me smart, but again, I'm not trying to be smart. I'm trying to be the guy who can build this stuff and know how it works. Anyways, look at this. I got messages going. Looks like I'm sending all my syslog. So this is all messages over a secure port to 180, which I guess must be I don't know why I'm sending those syslog messages over there, but they're also TCP. So 2 @ signs is TCP, 1 @ sign is UDP. So I'm sending stuff over to that box, which is my Influx DB and Loki. And apparently I'm also sending, I didn't even realize I was doing this. I wonder if that's why my space all filled up. Oh, this is rabbit hole crap now. So I think I set a bunch of my nodes up. So let's grep over here etsy rsyslog. No, let's just cat it. Cat etsy rsyslog.conf. And did I put something in here? Am I capturing input? I'm not even capturing input for those. So, okay, so we're not even capturing stuff over here. I don't know why I did that. I must have been like showing something or demoing something a while back. Because I did some rsyslog stuff a while back at work. Here's some other configurations. So the rsyslog anything.d as a directory, it tends to be appended at the end of your actual config directory. So, or your actual config file. So etsy rsyslog.conf gets appended typically in numerical order here by this UFW conf, cloud init conf, and then whatever this 50 default conf is. So it would kind of look like this: cat etsy rsyslog.conf, and then cat everything, right? And this would be, as far as the interpreter of that system goes, this would be everything. Where's that thing start here? Where'd my cat happen? Hold on. It's kind of annoying sometimes. That's the file as far as the system's concerned. All of this. That's the config file right there. In my response, the biggest weakness, I can be impatient when a team. Oh, so that's one of the things, by the way, Linux developers. I very rarely, in fact, almost never, am there to ask any of the personal type questions. I am always there to do technical stuff. But it's super funny to me that they didn't want to ask me to help, but they needed my help. They didn't know they needed my help, but they had my brother help, and then he asked me for help. So I ended up helping them, but they really wanted to not have to ask me for help, but they still did. They just didn't know that my brother asked them. And my brother said, hey, do you want me to ever tell them about that? And I said, nah, don't tell them. Don't tell them where you got the questions. Nobody needs to know. Tell them they're your questions if anybody asks. But some of these, by the way, like this second one here, I think you guys that have done the Linux Systems Administration course should be really good at this. I made you guys do this all over the servers, right? So any of you guys that did Lab 3, you should feel pretty good about this. I gave you multiple disks and you added them in there and extended and did all kinds of stuff. Yeah, Rogue Dom, I'm just trying to keep my own skills sharp, right? That's the goals. Keep the skills sharp. Keep everything kind of working. And then I can just I'll feel good when I retire and have everything, you know, don't have to worry about all this stuff anymore. Robodom, you missed it earlier too. I got off late because I was working on I had to do a full power off of this cluster today to show the customer all the way down and then move it all the way back up. Yeah, over on YouTube, are the questions in Discord? Yeah, these questions are in Discord somewhere. I think they're I think these ones, if I had to guess, these ones are probably in presentations. Here's my security engineering interns questions, so if you need those. Yeah, here's the RHEL ones. Yeah, so they're just under presentations. There's also a bunch of other stuff here in presentations too. Lots of stuff that we've put in there over the time. The old general troubleshooting one that we sometimes go through. All right. What does it mean to have a journaled file system? What is it? What experience do you have hooking RHEL up to LDAP or other authentication authorization tools? What do you know about them? You know, those kind of things. What automation technologies have you worked with, and what do you know about the different pieces? And if somebody tells you that they know about it, ask them about it. What did you do? No, Robodom, I didn't do that during stream. No. Gosh, no, I did it. I just didn't get to stream as early as I normally would have. Logan versus Mike, car Apple. I'm surprised those ads are still coming, Linux. That's got to be over. It started at 6. So 6. So, and then it was funny. I was watching a streamer yesterday, and she was like, well, I wish it was just the Logan versus Tyson. I wouldn't have to watch all these other fights. I don't really care about the other fights. And I'm like, do you not know how the main event works? You always have all the other stuff it's like the appetizers and then the main event, right? Like the main course that comes up later, you know? So they want you to sit through all the other fights and see all the other up and coming fighters, and, you know, and that's the model that always had happened. Well, let me text the wife real quick. Yeah, apparently my brother said it was pretty lame, so it sounds like it's over whenever it was. I don't care. I'll hear about it from all my buddies, and it'll be all over because, you know, I train a sport that's very adjacent to that. Robodon, I think he was asking these ones, but these ones are all up in the Discord. Yes, these ones here that we were looking at. But yeah, you guys can ask any questions you want. We're not working too hard right now. We're not doing too much. We were hanging out earlier, kind of watching this stuff and hanging out and, you know, whatever. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a black belt. Been doing it for 21 years. Yep. No. Karate. No. None of that stuff. Nope. I train a little thing called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Started it when I was in the army. In Iraq, in fact. That's when I started doing it. But yeah, it was fun. Good times. But yeah, I'll see all kinds of memes in the next. Probably if I looked on my social media right now, I'd see all kinds of stuff. Let me go check the old. I was telling somebody too, you know, like, you know, feel free to watch whatever kind of fights you want, but I'm gonna tell you right now, when I was a little kid in the 80s, Mike Tyson was in a video game that I played in boxing. I'm 43 years old, guys. So, like to put that into perspective, he was already in a video game when I was a kid about boxing. And that was part of a reason, I mean, I wasn't even going to bother watching that shit. So, I'm like, there's no way. No way I want to see anything to do with that. Yeah, Punch-Out, the original Punch-Out game, yeah. Actually, I take it back. I don't think that was the original. I think that was, I think they modified it for Mike Tyson. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't even think that was the original version of that game. But yeah, I mean, that was literally 35 years ago when I was like 8. I remember playing that game. So in the 80s, I was playing that game. Yeah. It just seems weird to me that we would be even talking about some of this. What is Solus VM? What is that? What is this? I'm just curious what this is. So, you're running 3 servers with an unlimited number of VPSs. $30 a month, 40 total. Enterprise license. Huh. Interesting. So you could do something like that. Buy it annually. I think the memes are hilarious. I think the stuff I see coming out of it's awesome. Awesomely hilarious. I have a general stance. I post it every 4 years or so on Facebook. The same people, and this was back in 2016, I remember posting this for sure. But the same people that I saw not doing anything in the early 2000s were the same people I saw not doing anything in like 2008, were the same people I saw not doing anything in 2016, were the same people I see not doing anything in 2024. Like, when I say that, I mean like people that were complaining online, people that I knew. And I'm like, I've known you since high school. And like, we're in our 40s now, guys. Like, I've told people this. I'm like, we're in our 40s now. Like you haven't figured out what you want to do yet? Like what the fuck? I'm not saying, look, if you don't have it all together, that's fine. What I'm telling you is like, why don't you start working on that now? Yeah, no, Robodom, I'm 43, I get it, but I'm saying like, figure it out. Start figuring out. Here's how you take an assessment of yourself, right? And I showed you guys that. Yeah. I'm not trying to be mean about it, Robodom. I'm just saying like, but if people are complaining, and I'm like, but you're not doing anything. How can you be mad about somebody else not doing anything? Because my thing is, I'm going to do the best job I can, whether somebody across the country from me is effective or not. Whether I like Bush or Obama or Trump or Biden, whether I thought they were all shitheads. I'm gonna do the best thing that I can do. Like, I have personal goals. Like, I want to have taught 10,000 engineers in college. I'm over 5,000 now. I need about 15 more years, 15 more good years before this all just goes to shit, to hit 10,000 engineers. Then I don't care. That's a number I picked long ago. I just was like, I'm gonna teach for 30 years at least. and that's something I got to do. I'm checking off my doctorate. I don't need a doctorate for any reason, but I was like, to go do it. Might as well knock it out. It's that last thing that I got to do for work. For college stuff. Never Fear saved me money. I wish I could say thanks. Oh, nice. I've never used Never Fear. I don't know what that is. Yeah, like, you know, if it had been if the person I won, if I liked the person who won, I still have to go tomorrow and feed my family. And if the person that I didn't like won, I still had to get up tomorrow and go feed my family. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't matter to me that much. Like, I mean, oh, don't get me wrong, I care very much about like it, but I don't care enough to not do anything in my whole life and then complain about it. If that makes sense. But that's my point is like the people I know that were the loudest and most vocal weren't doing shit with their lives, and I'm like, why don't you like do anything with your life and then when you've accomplished like that one thing, then have a strong opinion about somebody literally across the country from us. So that's my thoughts. I try not to get super political here because I just don't care. We do have. What do I have people messaging me? I have people like sending me messages on Facebook or on Discord. Alright, I'll go look at those later, but oh yeah, the chatter. Yeah, Boris. Oh, he'll be back around. Yeah, it was Never Fear Boris is here. Yeah. He'll be back around. He's around pretty often. So, yeah, Robodom, I feel a lot better today. I took a little bit of a nap because I had to do that power down, power on procedure. And so I kind of got a little bit of a nap during the day, and then I'm kind of staying up right now into the DGen hours. I can feel it. I'm going to stay up late. But I was like, I'll hang out with you guys a little bit and talk and do some stuff. So what were we doing? We were looking at just like job things, and we were asking questions about like, do we understand? Hold on, where was the job stuff? We were looking at data center tech, and I was like, look, guys, if we don't have anything else, let's go get in a data center and let's start going through. There were some of these, so. Oh man, we could keep going through these because these look kind of fun. The data center stuff, we'll keep talking about these for a little bit here in a minute. Guaranteed they didn't vote either. The loudest ones are lazy. Yeah, I mean that happens, you know. But I'm just gonna like here's the thing. During the last 8 years of whether I liked somebody or not, my job was to be the best version of me I could be, so that when my person that I did like did get in or didn't, I could still go be the best version of me. I mean, that's kind of my thoughts on it, right? I've often joked that one of my leading goals in life was just, or one of my leading like thoughts in life was they can't send me back to Iraq. Because they can't. Like, literally, they would have to send me to fat camp for like a year to get in shape to be back in the military again. So like, they literally can't. Like, I'm pretty sure it's against like Geneva Conventions to send me anywhere. They have to get me back in shape that much. They'd be like, all right, it's like I would be able to eat like peach slices and cottage cheese for breakfast. That would be like all they'd give me. And I'd be like trying to get eggs, and they'd be like, no, eggs are for the guys that were trying to bulk up. You're losing weight, fatty. That's what they'd tell me. And then they'd get Brazilian jiu-jitsu. But that's not the point. The point is they would never send me anywhere again. So like I've always joked around about like they can't send me anywhere again. And then the other one is I do have a guiding principle in life. That's the learn something, master it, and then teach it to others, right? That's something I've always said is be the best you can at something. And if you do that, it does not fucking matter who the president is. It does not matter if you are more right-leaning or left, or if... I mean, like, we can argue, and I don't want to get into politics here, but we could argue that the country shifted in some way, or what the data are showing us is that one party moved out of center enough that people were like, I can't go there, and they moved somewhere else. That's what the data show, you know. And now those people have to figure out, do we keep going down this road and possibly never ever winning again, or do we come back to like our traditional more middle values, right? And that's something like, again, I don't want to argue politics here, but that's literally what happened. You can go look in the all the data are showing that, so you guys can do that. Fast one con. I went into basic training at 18. I had they told me that I was like height and weight, like I was right at height and weight. I weighed 180 pounds at 5'11", and in a group of 500 and something people, I was number two on there's a 1.5 mile run when you get there. Out of those people, I was number two out of 500 people. The guy who beat me, I never beat him. He was so fast. I was a road guard for the fast group the whole time I was in. While I was in, I did not own a TV. I just lifted weights. I had a 650 pound squat at 180 pounds. I had a 415 pound bench, and my deadlift was like about 630 or so. Yeah, I have pictures of me. People don't believe until they see them, but yeah. Came back from Iraq 6'3", 210. Jeez. You were still growing at 19? Damn, I'm pretty sure I didn't get any taller after about 19. Yeah, because I was 5'11", and I'm still right at 5'11". So, and then it's funny, I came back from the Army and kept hanging out with all my friends. Yeah, you can keep growing. You can keep, some people. I have a friend who was shorter than me when we left high school, and he is about 6'2" now, and he was not taller than me when we left high school. Yeah, some guys keep growing. Yeah. On the other side of that, you guys want to hear something crazy? You go look this guy up if you want. His name is Jason Elrond. He went to grade school with me. He was 6'5" in 8th grade. He was 6'5" in 8th grade. You say, really? He was top 99th percentile for sure. But that guy only ended up being like 6'6" or 6'7". But in 8th grade, he was taller than every teacher at the school. And then he never grew any. Robodom, you never grew after 19, yeah. James Lynch saw a discussion earlier where someone was streaming hexadecimal and a termination character to a port and executing it, trying to think of where that would be used. James, you can between two servers, you can just open up NC and push TCP streams between your two servers if you want. I saw some of the guys doing it in our server the other day. Yeah. Guys, some people keep growing. Shit, some people just keep growing. But no, you can open a netcat and listen on a port, and then you can send data over to it, James, whenever you want. Yeah, you do all kinds of stuff. You can open up a port and listen on a socket with either a container if you wanted to, and do it with have Docker. And then, Python or Go inside of there and just compile something and have a listener on your system. You can do, there's all kinds of little stuff you can do playing with that. Fast one con, yeah, mental, I'm still 12. That's actually really funny. I remember thinking that when I was younger. I was like, all right, I'm 17 and I turn 18 tomorrow. I wonder if I'm going to feel any different. And I woke up the next day and I didn't feel any different. I'm like, this is all bullshit. I was already signed up at 17 to go in the Army, though, so it didn't really matter at that point. But yeah, my fastest 2 miles in the Army was 11:03. I was just, that's all I did in the Army was be good at being in the infantry. So yeah, that's all I cared about in there. That and chasing girls. That's all I cared about from like 18 to 22. So that was that. I'll tell you guys a fun political thing if you want, but this will, again, I'm not being political. There was a guy that was in my unit the entire time I was there. The entire time I was in the Army, he was in my unit with me. And his name, you can go look him up if you want. His name is Rob Smith. He's a very popular person in the political space. When I say very popular, like top percentage type viewership and all that kind of stuff. He's got a show. He goes on some of the news sites pretty regularly, like a few times a month, probably, if I had to guess. You've definitely seen him or heard of him. But anyways, yeah, his name's Rob Smith. Anyways, he was in my infantry unit the entire time I was there, and that's kind of a fun thing. He's probably one of the most famous people I've ever known. I've had one person that was probably more famous than him in one of my college classes, but that will get political if I bring that up. I'll just say the name, and then if you guys don't know who they are, you can at least go look them up later if you want. But I had a person in my college classes named Fallon Fox. You can go look up who that is if you want. Linksville, yeah, I say hi to him. I mean, I'll talk to him. He's in our we've got a Charlie Company 112, which is C Company 112 of the so Charlie 112 of the 3rd Brigade Combat Team of 4th ID. That was our unit. That was our company, and yeah, he was over in 2nd Platoon. I was in 1st Platoon when we were in Iraq the first time. So technically, we deployed to Iraq together. So, although we didn't see 2nd and 1st didn't see each other a whole lot. Fun fact. Well, that doesn't matter, but yeah. But like, yeah, he comes and talks in our group sometimes. Like, well, I mean, we'll be chatting in there. Somebody will post something. He'll be in there. But yeah, I mean, again, whether you like people or not, you run into people and you do things. I happen to. He was a good friend of mine. I thought he was a good guy. So I was also in during the era of something called Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And you guys can go look up what that means if you want. But that was the era of. I actually signed up under Clinton. If you guys didn't know that, because '99 Clinton was still president. So. Yeah, the Linux developer, the armed forces will definitely snatch you up with a degree. You've got two options there typically. Thanks, Robodom, for the resubscription. Robodom's one of the guys who's been with me here the longest. I think Robodom, we used to hang out in Midnight Simon's channel, I think, even before I started streaming. Same here, you didn't have to ask, but you could definitely tell. You know what? When I found out Rob Smith was homosexual, I did not know that. I swear he went clubbing with us and chased girls just like the rest of us. I didn't know. It didn't matter to me either, but I didn't know. So yeah, the guy. And by the way, guys, I'm not outing the guy. He's a very, very out there conservative commentator, right? But I'm not outing him as being gay. He is gay. He would tell you that. But yeah, he was in my unit. Yep, I hung out with the guy, knew him. Yeah. But I mean, he'd still remember me for sure. But he's went, he's done the political science route and done all that stuff. I think he's got a master's from somewhere. I've just been heads down being an engineer the whole time, right? Engineer, college professor. That's what I do. So, Linux developer. By the way, if you go in the armed forces with a degree, like if you have a bachelor's degree, there's basically two options for you. And by the way, my older brothers were recruiters. My older brother, like I'm 43, my brother Steve is 44. He is still in the Army, still recruiting people. And he's a really damn good recruiter too. Like on Veterans Day, he posted a picture with him and one of the other recruiters, and they were standing around this picture of all their awards. And I was like, damn, dude, save some awards for the rest of us, dude. They win everything in their little like most people in and all this kind of stuff. Anyways, where I'm going with that is there's two things typically Linux developer if you have a degree. You can go right in as an enlisted personnel, and then they bump you up to like E4, which is basically nothing. And then guys that do that with a degree tend to go in for a couple years and then jump over to like a warrant officer. So then you'd go be a warrant officer, and nobody knows what warrant officers do. They just hide from work. And then the other option typically is you go and you do an ROTC program for a little bit, and even though you're done with your college, you've got a degree, and typically you go through some kind of enhanced ROTC for a few months or something, and then you become an officer. And officers are, they're more of the administrative branch of things. So, yeah, like officers don't kick in doors and fuck people up like enlisted people do. Let me just put it that way. That's not their job. So, anyways, so Linux developer, if you were going to go in the military, you definitely could do that, especially if you're not very old. But higher degree is going to land a job after my first one this way. Nice, Fastcon. Fastcon, are you doing? Are you one of the guys doing WGU? I know a few of you have been doing WGU. And some of you guys were thinking about doing WGU. We've got quite a few people in our Discord that have went and hammered those out a little bit, and I'd probably say, if I had to be conservatively guessing, we probably have 15 people in there that have passed WGU for at least a bachelor's. Yeah, we probably have. Yeah, it's Western Governor University. Yeah, you can go look it up. It's a pretty good little course, and there's a lot of guys that can answer you questions about it. One of our guys got his bachelor's from them in 4 months. You say 4 months? Yep. But he's a machine. He's a machine. GI Bill and doing WGU to keep going. Nice. WGU is, I think they've got an excellent program, guys. Robdom, you didn't know that Pesa did that in 4 months? He prepped up, he got all ready, he studied all the prereqs, and he blasted through their shit in 4 months. Yep. Yep. He's put in to get his master's already at a different college. Where he's doing I don't want to put his business out there. I don't know what master's he's doing, but he got accepted the other day. He told me that. Yeah. Robodom, he's probably the only Red Hat architect you've ever met. You guys know what a Red Hat architect is? It's RHCA, not RHCSA, RHCA. That means that you have an RHCSA, an RHCE, and then you took 4 other certs of theirs and passed them all. 4 or 5. It's a lot of other certs to get their architect, and then their architect is specialized. He's one of their infrastructure architects. Not to mention, if you guys ever talk to Pesa. By the way, Pesa has a thing over on our YouTube channel. You can go watch his eBPF thing if you want. He got a perfect score on his RHCSA and his RHCE. In case you guys didn't know that. So yeah, that's why I always tell you guys. People ask me about that stuff, and I'm like, go talk to Michael. He's great. Go ask him and just tag him. Just tag him on the server. It'll summon him. No, he's trying to be around more. So him and his wife were moving though. I gotta check to see if they move, because me and the wife gotta go see them. I know where they're moving to, but we gotta go see their new place. So, and he only got married. Oh, me and the wife were at the wedding, but it was only under a year ago now, I think. So, yeah, they came over a while back and showed us all the pictures and stuff. It was pretty cool. Yep. Yeah, but we're not working too hard right now, guys. I might even walk and take another break before we start this data center talk. Guys, I'm not telling you that all of you are going to want to land in a data center for your whole career, but if you're just trying to break into tech, maybe you start at a data center. Maybe. I've been in data centers. I was in a data center when I was in Hawaii. I had to go in it twice. For the supercomputer, obviously. Most all of my stuff, guys, honestly, I don't ever have to be in the data center. But I do go in there to show people, like I was showing those guys how this new connection works with Dell. Dell's got a really cool little way of connecting to their systems now that I kind of like. So, I was showing them that, showing them how that works, and verifying that they could get that to work. Because I want them to be able to get into their servers. Because once they do acceptance of the system, if you guys have ever done like a big project like this, what happens is once the customer has had all the contractual obligations met, and they ask whatever last little questions they have, there's a official formal time where you say, okay, we have met all the criteria. Do we have acceptance? And when they say that, and when they say yes, we accept the system, it is then their system. They one of the first things they do most of the time procedurally is strip all of the rights from us as admins. I can't go in and like clean up or fix even one last little thing. I might still have access to the system to get in there and help them, but that would be like on a very limited, restricted basis, and probably based on contractual needs and requirements, right? Obviously, like, we're the subcontractor on this. The primary is Dell, and obviously there has to be some work through that so that Dell can be billed and all that kind of stuff. So Dell can be billed by us, and then Dell can bill the customer, obviously, for all that kind of stuff. Because when you're the sub, you don't bill the customer directly. You bill the primary. So that's how that tends to work. Linux developer, you've made fries. My plan is to get up and walk around a little bit. I'm going to finish these two. I have a water bottle and maybe like a tenth of a water bottle. And I was going to walk over, and I have a whole bunch of corn nuts behind me, so I'm going to go grab some corn nuts. And then those are going to be crunchy, so maybe I'll have to, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. I could either stop streaming or just sit here and crunch corn nuts in your ears. That would be like ASMR probably. Everybody's always looking for ASMR streams. Yeah, just me sitting here crunching on corn nuts and talking, talking while crunching on a mouthful of corn. I wouldn't do that. I have a rule, like when I'm presenting in front of people, I do not have anything, no gum, no nothing. No, I don't do it. I'll drink a water bottle. I'll stop talking and drink water. That's different. But I will not like chew on something when I talk to people. I find that I don't. It's funny. I don't mind if somebody were to do it to me. I just refuse to do it myself. So. I don't think there's anything, like, think about it, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I refuse to do it. That's just one of my things, I guess. All right. Hold on. There are more people messaging me. All right. General, you guys can always talk in general. You guys can. Mike Tyson, guys, I've never beaten that game. I've never beaten Mike Tyson, and let me tell you something. I played that game probably in my late 20s, early 30s again as an adult, just to see how hard that was. And I'm going to tell you that what happened was I walked through every single character in that game. I beat the shit out of all of them. First try. Didn't have to continue, didn't have nothing. And I went all the way over, guys. I went all the way over to Mike Tyson, and I got up there and I said, me and Lil Mac, ready to go, beat the piss out of this guy. He beat the fucking brakes off of me, and I turned the game off and didn't play it again. So I'm going to tell you, that's still, to this day, when I do, because I do retro game nights over here, and we have a bunch of retro pies, and we play stuff. I put that game on, and I put the code in there for the kids to fight Mike Tyson, so they could see that what we used to deal with as kids. Yeah, there's some timing thing basically, but I didn't look anything up. I just went and replayed it with no knowledge, and I beat every character in that game to Mike Tyson. And I thought, okay, I got this guy. He beat the piss out of me. I was on the canvas, and I was like, this is just like my childhood all over again, except I was talking about my dad, and I was still getting the shit beat out of me. What? I'm just kidding. All right. Well, no, I mean, I'm not kidding. That did happen, but you got to laugh about it. All right. Let's go walk around. Yeah, I know. Why do you think I went in the infantry? I tell people all the time, man. You tell me any job you had in the military, and I'll tell you what your ASVAB score was. Like, I'll tell you where where your percentile was in the country. You tell me that you were infantry, though, I have no effing idea. I know you were either at the bottom or the top, though. I don't know where you were, but I know you were bottom or top. But and then the main thing is I know you were insane. Because the one thing that governs everybody in the infantry is they're insane. Yeah, Fastcon. I was talking about that earlier. Like that game, Mike Tyson was in that game when I was a kid, and I'm 43 now. So like when I was like in my teens, that guy was already not even my teens. When I was like 8, that guy was already in a game, and I'm 43 now. So like, what? Whoever let him get in a ring is absolutely insane. I mean, I'll probably be getting a whole bunch of updates here from people soon. So, all right. Anyways, guys, there's a lot of stuff in here for you guys. The Discord is where we hang out and talk shop. We do have one thing to show you guys. We have events coming up, and tomorrow there's a casual study hang. There's 11 people maybe coming, so that's cool. There was probably 10 plus people in there earlier at any given time. We're up to 50 again in the ProLug Linux Systems Administration course. We're doing Unit 10 tomorrow. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and all you gotta do is hop in there and start going, right? My brother, so I'm gonna talk for an hour tomorrow, and then my brother's gonna talk to you guys for. If I saw his presentation, probably a little over an hour, and then just you guys can ask him questions and stuff. So John's got some good stuff to show you guys and talk about servers and squeezing more out of the hardware and kind of like what that looks like. And then we're going to do a New Year event, so feel free to sign up for that. That's going to be free too. There's always giveaways and stuff. We always do something fun there. So, all right. What am I doing? I'm talking too much. Over here. So we talked about audit and document existing cabling. So cabling that's already there, can we get it to work? Audit and document desktop configurations, including patching and power for existing and proposed user locations. So this is going to be cable, toner, right? Like, are we seeing connections all the way through to the correct patch panel as we expect? Cable toner, probably terminating your TIA, EIA 568A or B standard. By the way, it's either or. So when I keep saying 568A or B, if your company uses TIA, EIA 568A, that's what you're using. And if they use B, that's what you're using. So if you say, well, I don't know the difference, I say, okay, that's fine to not know the difference. Let's go look at the standards, right? What's the difference? What's the pinout difference between how these two work, right? And here's the pinout positions of 568A. Start with white orange. So you always have, when you look at these, the pairs have the same colors, but with white. So white and brown, orange and white, blue and white, green and white, right? So here's the pinouts for one type of cables, and here's the pinouts for the other. These pinouts are going to go from what's called your horizontal cross connect in your data center out across your horizontal run, which can be up to 90 meters, out to your individual workstations, right? Now, this job that we were just looking at is specifically a data center tech. But even as a data center tech, you still need to know this kind of stuff because you're still going to terminate to one of these. So let's see if they have in the images how those terminate. So they punch down and they show how it works. Here's the cabling on one side versus the cabling on the other. And I don't like that as a visualization though, because it's never one to another like that. We don't do A on one side and B on the other. That's insanity. That wouldn't work. Actually, certain switches nowadays would probably figure that out if I had to guess. Certain switches nowadays can just figure stuff out. But this is the termination, but with fiber, so that doesn't count. Where is... Somebody show me the block. Come on. There's two types of terminations too. There's terminations at the cable. The cable for a 568A or B needs to be terminated in a same type of 568A or B termination, right? And this is that's similar. It's your horizontal cabling here. They don't have. I'm surprised nobody's got an actual picture of the horizontal cross connect for us. All right. Anyways, but without pulling everything up, that's what it is. That's what that standard means. I used to do a lot of teaching about data center. Compile patching schedules as required. So this is know your life cycles of patches. If there is no plan, make one. And we've talked a lot about how we do patching over the time that I've been here. Netflix going hard on the promos. Yeah, that's that sounds like it's true, even though it sounds like it's over. So, but maybe they're just selling out the rest of their ad buys or whatever. So I guess we'll just sit around and keep collecting them. Just sit around and keep collecting them. Guess that's what we do around here. Alright, anyways, we're stupid and pick, yeah. Alright, let's go and guys, we just hit 3 hours. So here's what we'll do. I'll answer that question in the Linux developer, but let me take a break real quick. Let me go walk around. Whoops. That's me getting it's getting late at night, guys. Hourglass is the name of my little program here that runs my hourglass, right? So that was my bad. But let's go. Let's a quick break, and I'll be back. And then I'll answer the difference between K3s and K8s. It's the difference between a lean process and the full everything. Oh, let me go grab these corn nuts back here. Oh, there's less than I'd hoped for. I've been munching on these for like over a week. All right. Four more minutes, guys. Take a break. Walk it out. Be like my little penguin there. I'm gonna eat some of these smoked corn nuts here. This is not a little bag of corn nuts I have either. This is like a really big bag that my wife bought. So. Yeah, I need a corn nut emoji. This is the first time I've ever eaten corn nuts on stream. Let me think about that. Robodom, am I lying? Have I eaten these on stream before? I might have. Years ago on stream, I ate some jujubes, but I don't think I was on. Oh, these are so good. My wife got like a big bag. This is like a 7-ounce bag. That's half a pound. Right? Pretty big. And oh, and she had some. We had ranch ones the other day, but the ranch bag ran out. This is the chili picante con limon. And then there's some back there that I haven't tried yet called taco. My wife said that they were okay, so I haven't really went for any of those yet, but yeah, I've been on a weird corn nut kick. Ah, so they're going to have some type of drawing tool. I'd definitely ask them. If I went for this job and they said, "Do you have any questions for us?" I would say, "Hey, you guys mentioned to use some cable management software tools, but I didn't see anywhere what you guys use. What are you guys using?" And that would show that you're interested and that you read, and or if you've used a couple, say, "Hey, I've used this and this. What do you guys use here?" And you can find that out, and then now you've got another thing to show that you've done good stuff in the industry. All right. Ah, what are they really asking you for here? Well, obviously cable, labeling, skills. There is a way to label cables that is effective, and they would probably teach you them. But cables should be typically labeled like, and look, it's going to depend on your organization, but maybe 3 to 6 inches from where you plug them in. All your cables should have the labels right around there. The cables should be labeled both to the port that they're going to and the one that they're coming from on both sides. Now, you might say, oh, well, I only need to know on the one side that it's going there. Well, no, because when you go to trace it later, you want to know where some of the things are expecting to go. So your cable labeling skills are a big part of whether or not you're going to be able to do some of this stuff. Also, your cable management skills. Most people like, and this is a weird thing about people that do now they want you to be a desktop engineer too, apparently. In a data center, it's all Velcro. But when it's on a desktop, it's sometimes zip ties. But some of us really can't stand zip ties, so I would focus on Velcro. You know, it's funny, I say that full well knowing that I have about 1,000 zip ties right in my desk, right under my microphone here. So that's actually kind of funny. Yeah, Robdom, get some sleep. I'm staying up to DGen hours just because, well, was it Friday night and I don't have anything to do until stream tomorrow? Oh, James, yeah, these sound good. These are really good. I want to keep munching on them right now. But yeah, so there's that. I have never heard of this term before. Does anybody here know what iMACD is? I've literally never heard this term before. So now I need to go look that up. What's an iMac-D? What does that mean? Well, obviously there's the Googles, right? We can always ask the Googles. Oh. Is that a Mac thing? Oh. I did not know that's where they were going with that. Oh, wow. Okay. iMac. Okay. I would have never thought that that's what that was. I didn't know. I thought it was all over. Oh, this one's fun. What are some of the... How do we wipe drives? Now, anybody want to take a guess? Like you can Google it, I guess, if you want. But does anybody here want to take a guess, just to spitball a number of how many different ways there are to wipe drives? How many different codified standards from different countries around the world do you guys think there are to wipe drives? Like if you were just guessing. Moana ads. I bet you whatever you say is low. Peloton bikes. They always push Peloton bikes. Good old Subaru. Guys, I have a corn nut down. It has not been on the ground too long. I can still eat it. All right. Good old kill disc. They've got a free version. It's freeware. That is not open source, guys. But they adhere to a bunch of different standards. By the way, there are tools that you can buy that also have some of this, so you don't have to spend this kind of money. There's things called the disk storinator, or disk destroyinator is the name of the one. But freeware. And if we talk about all the certifications, when you use some of these with their, like a live CD, and you sit there and just wipe your discs, you can pick the different standards you want to wipe to. So if I just said, right here, open source, so disk wiping standards. They should have it probably on, here we go. Oh man. Here's the different standards that are out there. So we're not going to count them all. But, no. That is a very small subset of them. But I would say there's probably about 300 of them that are out there for these different algorithms. All ones, all zeros in a pseudo-random sequence 5 times. Okay? Disk is filled with sequences of, those are hex numbers, right? And on the last pass, all A's. So there's different standards that have been around. How many rounds do they go through all their passes? And then there's verification at the end. We don't know when all the standards were. There are definitely more than this. These are the standards. Maybe it's the techniques that are more. But anyways, that's a small subset of them. Well, Max Fane, you'll find a lot of countries just emulate the U.S. I mean, that's been the last 50 years of anything the Chinese have developed, right? There's a bunch of standards there. I know your toners. Toners have a thing called TDR. That's a time domain reflector. Right, time domain reflector can tell you how far down a cable is damaged. There's a fiber version of that, which is ODR, optical domain. Right. So you gotta know your tools. You're probably gonna have some tools. They might even have some in an interview like this, and they make you use them on a cable to verify that the cable works all the way through. There's also, I mean, there's like, there's simple light tests in some cables. So, you know, so for fiber optic, there's some simple light tests. that are safe. Laser test is never safe to look into a laser in a any of the whether it's multi-mode or single mode fiber. You never point one of those at your eyes ever. You can damage your retina, and it will never heal. So you'd be like torching the back of your eyeball, and you wouldn't even feel it, but you just wouldn't see right ever again. And as somebody who's colorblind, I can tell you, not from that. I'm colorblind from just being colorblind. You don't want that. Carry out. So look. By the way, can I tell you guys something? This is funny. This is funny that a company that does data center stuff would get that wrong. Do you guys know the difference between when you would use fiber like this and fiber the other way? Anybody know why you would, when do you have to use this way? Does anybody know? Well, I mean, if you don't want to get like laughed out of a conference or something. All right. Carry out all kinds. This is as above. This one is as above. Well, in the UK, they do say it that way. But fiber channel is a British UK standard. It was named by people from England. You can go look that up. Go look up the fiber channel standard. That is how fiber channel is spelled. Everywhere else, you could say fiber optics like this or fiber optics like this. It does not matter. But if you were talking about fiber channel and you're putting a capital F there because you're saying the proper name, that's the name, not ER. We don't get the American this anymore. That's never correct. This will never be correct. Because the standard was written by the British, and unfortunately, when we fought them 240 years ago, it wasn't over this. All right, I'll be good. All right. Look. More desktop support. Right? You got to show people how to use their stuff. All right. Like this is, be able to lift 50 pounds and be on your feet all day. That's a job thing sometimes. Yeah. And then Linux developer, when anybody asks you how to pronounce fiber channel, like you just spelled it, tell them it's GIF. And then just, look, I might be oversimplifying things sometimes, but I can't stand when words use letters and then those letters don't make the sound that the letter makes. That actually really bugs me. All right, more troubleshooting. Did you guys know when a system beeps, it's telling you something? Did you know some of those beeps are in specific hertz ranges? I don't know if you guys knew that. Yeah, for post, for sure. All those lights mean something too. Which, by the way, is really funny to me. Because the yellow and green that were picked for the back of a server when a connection is or isn't good in a NIC are not yellows and greens that I can tell apart with my eyes. Same thing typically with the LEDs on the front with discs. But what I am very good at when looking down a row of servers, because I used to run disk arrays with thousands and thousands of disks in them. What I was very good at doing was checking by quickly looking up and down the array for the light that was not blinking the same. So I could do like stripe writes to my luster systems and see, well, I believe it's in this disk array because that's what my system's showing me. And then when I go physically look at the box, and I'm still sitting there running my striping array or whatever job I'm doing to keep load on the system, then I'll see where my disk is that's not blinking the same. And then I'll look at it and go, oh, is that a different color? And I'll kind of get close to it, and I'll be like, yeah, that looks different. And then I'll pop that disk, if it's hot swappable, that kind of stuff. Which a lot of those array type things are. You're running RAID 6, 8 plus, 8, RAID 6, 6 plus 2, and then, which is 8 total. And then one that I've been reading with Weka, and one that we're running with Weka, is actually, it's not even technically a RAID anymore because you're just doing big data, but it's an 18 and 2. So any two nodes could be, well, all the nodes are redundant because you're writing in multiple places, but two of them are on standby to take over full load of the system at any time. So that's an even higher level of efficiency. So kind of interesting what people are doing with data nowadays. It's interesting in general what Weka does, but all right. They want you to work in voice and data cabling environment. So voice is going to be your RJ11 jacks typically, and then your data is going to be RJ45, right? But here's the thing. This could also involve what we call a converged networking and convergence and networking used to mean when everything saw itself the same way on the network. Nowadays, converged networking is data, voice, and then video or conferencing on the same line. And that's typically going to have some VLANs involved. And then you've got, within the VLANs, you've got traffic shaping. I'll just put it down underneath. Or sometimes traffic policing. Now, if you don't know the difference between traffic shaping and traffic policing, feel free to look that up. That's not really super germane to this conversation, but it is a good thing to understand if you haven't. Dual tone multi-frequency, yeah, DTMF, dual tone multi-frequency for sure. Which is the original, that stopped a lot of the original freakers, right? And that's PHREAKERS. Freakers, yep. From the rack of nerdiness, nice. Hold on. Wait a minute. When you look at that, yeah, so what you want to do, there's two ways you could bypass this, but I want you to see that. Well, I gotta pop out this chat. I missed the air. Hold on, I got it. Let me pop out chat real quick. You know, in all my time streaming, I'm pretty sure I've never done this. I'm pretty sure I've never put this over chat before. But, oh, God. That ad's just popping up and bugging me. Probably more than what's bugging you guys. All right, so I want to show you guys something. So, when you see this, we can't get this and this. So, what I would tell you to do here is I would do an RPM-QA grep for init, right? Or init scripts. And I'd look at those and I go, okay, one of these two has got to go. So what I would probably do is remove this one, and I would probably do it with a RPM-Q, RPM-E -- no deps, and get rid of, and just kill them. That's what I would probably do here. And then I would run it again because now it would only be trying to install this. So it's trying to install both of these or update them, and it can't find the update for one of them. So again, one of the things I would do is definitely get rid of that. Yeah, so I would do an RPM. So what's happening, look at, if you read it, what's happening is it can't install this and this. Well, hopefully that answers the question. I would love to time it where it comes off of ads and then I say, and hopefully that answers the question for you at the same time. That would be really funny. But no. No. That's not acceptable to everybody. Yeah, skip broken will just bypass it by not installing any of that stuff, and that's probably not what you want either. So yeah, I would just get rid of this one, especially if you were doing like an update and it was breaking. That's what I would do. All right, you guys are back. Get out of here. All right. Anyway, so that's what I was saying is just I would go and look and see if init scripts are there. And one of the things normally when I used to see these errors, one of them would not be x80, one of them would only be x86, and we're like, oh, what the hell? Where we got the 32-bit packages on here? And then we would go pull them off. But if this was an update and this was the case, I would always go pull the older one off. Or you can explicitly not upgrade these or whatever. I don't know exactly what you're trying to install, but yeah. That's my thoughts on that. Hopefully that's good enough. Yeah, it shows. Yeah, I might get rid of that one. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that, maybe. Well, guys, I gotta go look at, hold on, I gotta go look at my college stuff real quick. I answered the one question. I don't know if I ever answered the other. Yeah, I gotta answer some questions later. Alright. Yeah, you can do the allow erasing. Sure. I think that's fine. I mean, I'd just manually go erase it, but yeah, you could do that too. Kind of wonder what's going on here, because I feel like there should be a lot more of these in the last 6 hours. Unless something's happened to that box again. Which I wonder. No, nothing's full again. Alright, we gotta go look at some stuff. Oh, nothing's even kinda high. Yeah, it's fine, Linux developer. Do it. What's it gonna do? Take everything out of your system and break it? Yeah, I'm a big fan of nuking and paving things. It's a good way to learn about the system for sure. So they wanted you to be a data center tech. But really know everything about desktops too, right? There we go. So I think that would get most of you guys started if you were trying to be one of these data center types. And typically what I do, grab all of this. I don't know, I'm not done yet. I gotta add some more. Alright, I won't add this one yet. I won't add this one to the done pile yet. I'll do it later. Guys, no, I got 8 more minutes. I can make it to the degen hours, but then I gotta be done. I can only make it to the degen hours. I can't hang out there too long. Degen is after 12 for me, right? It's the time when Fisherman Guybro shows up. I'm just kidding. I don't think he's around. All right. Discord's got a bunch of free certs you guys can go take. They're not related to us in any way, but they are tech, API, IPv6. That's a fun one. Some of the guys really like that one. Certified in cybersecurity. You want to go get some cybersecurity background? Different stuff there for you guys to mess with. All right. Yeah, we just left this thing back here spinning, didn't we? Let me get rid of that. Bacula, great tool, guys. I couldn't say enough good things about Bacula. All right. The API is still down. That's no good. Oh, I have my, I didn't mean to hit that. I can answer that for money. I should put that so it's in front. Hold on. That's funny. I didn't realize that was in front of him before. You guys couldn't see what I was talking about. I apologize, but that little tool, I think it's hilarious. I have a bunch of different stuff that can pop up in front of the stream. I don't use them very often, but all right. This query is not right. This thing should have multiple logs. Something's wrong in that environment, and I don't. It was just working a little while ago, so that's what's weird about it. I don't think. Let's get out of there real quick. Oh, I didn't mess with this, did I? I don't think I did. Yeah, it's super weird. Something wrong with this. Promtail's running. How's it going, Monkey Man? In 3 minutes, it's not Friday for me anymore. It'll be Saturday morning. And I'll be in the DGen hours officially. We're not working too hard. We're just kind of hanging out. Yeah, Linux, get some sleep. It's 1 a.m. for you, yeah. I got 2 more minutes and then I'll probably get off of here. I won't stay up too much later. I've been messing around long enough. Although, I did just finish a drink, so I'll probably stay up and watch a show. I'm almost done watching all of the Law & Order SVUs. I had never seen that show before. And a few months ago, I started watching it, and I thought it was pretty alright. Pretty fun. I liked Detective Stabler, and then he was gone. And then I realized, I was like, oh, that's the guy that did the show Happy. So if you guys have ever seen the show Happy, for the first 12 seasons of Law & Order SVU, he was also a detective on there. So it's kind of funny. Yep. Kind of a funny little thing to have happen. I wonder if... Let's look for something while we're kind of sitting here. Yeah, again, Loki is definitely not working right now. Let's prove it's busted. Gotta prove. Gotta prove things. You can't just say things. You gotta prove them, right? So if I'm over here on this node, just putting in bullshit passwords that aren't real. No, there it is. There's the failed password. Alright, well. Apparently this is the most quiet night my server's experienced in a long time. Because that's for 5 hours nobody tried to... Oh, you know what? That fucking makes sense. So, guys, fun fact. Earlier today at... Okay, so 3 hours ago. Well, It was before this. Oh, that's interesting. So my server, my home address changed, and my DDNS has to pick it up and kick and be able to bring people down, so people should be able to connect and stuff. But that makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense, because here's why. So nobody has that new address. Well, obviously all the known addresses, there's only 4.3 billion of them, but the whatever my external IP is, which you guys can find very easily if you're in the Discord, changed, and that's why I'm not getting the volume. So watch, if we go even back to 2 days ago, you'll see all kinds of them. And I can't imagine my ISP ever did anything useful, but maybe they finally switched me. I mean, they definitely switched me. And you say, how do you know you switched? Well, because I had to have it fixed on my connection into that cluster that I was going into. My connection wouldn't work today, a couple hours before the power down. And I was like, guys, can you guys check? And then we found that my IP address wasn't in there. So I gave them my new external IP, which will probably be my external IP for the next year. You can reset it a little bit sometimes, but typically my provider, Cox, tends to keep you on the same one for at least 6 months. I've probably had that last one for a few years, and that's how everybody knew to get to my system. But you can always get to my system with resystem.asuscom.com, right? You can always use, it's actually not that anymore, it's Prolug. We changed it. So prolug.asuscom.com will always hit my external site, right? And then that actually pops through and hits site. This is actually referring you to site.prolug.org, which is where that's actually going. And that's my little Nginx. I just haven't gotten around to building the page on it yet. But there we go. Lots of fun stuff. All right, did we make it past 12? Yeah, we made it past 12. All right. So what did we see tonight? We saw a bunch of cybersecurity stuff. Cybersecurity in the logging of things, not necessarily in the doing of anything kind of crazy in that space. But then we see the errors of things. And we saw that there's a whole bunch of stuff for you guys to do in the Discord if you want. Go play around in there all you want. Got a bunch of events coming up, which you guys are welcome to hang out in for free. Excuse me. And then, just a whole bunch of stuff to play around with. So, all right, let's go find somebody to raid on the Twitch side. Oh, that's funny. It's it's that also. Wait a minute. Oh, I didn't have that. I was like, wait a minute. Why is my stream? I was like, where's all my music at? Normally I have a fair amount of music going on. But there was no music for the last who knows how long. We got music again, but it's too late. Let's go find somebody to raid. Who's up this late? Who's up that I'm following this late? Nobody. Alright, well, we'll probably just end here then. But there's a whole bunch of stuff for you guys to play with and systems for you to go build and mess with and stuff. So I'm going to drop off of here, but I will catch up with you guys tomorrow that want to be down in the Discord. And, yeah, thanks for coming by, guys.